What really put it on the map was the superfood, the chicken bake.
52 grams of protein per chicken bake. There's actually some controversy about what exactly it is.
There's a term that gets thrown around called home gym nerd. We mean this as a positive.
Yeah.
These people have taken their obsession or their passion to an extreme. In the last 10 years, this home gym thing has opened up where things are curated to perfection. You don't need to do it, but you can do it.
Time to sit down, keep it real, and cut the bullshit. Welcome to Table Talk. Okay, guys, back with Table Talk. Today I got Tanner and Tommy back again. I'm going to jump straight in with this one because I know it's going to be a good topic to start with. I've never been to Costco in my entire life, right? So I see the memes, I see all the conversations about this. What am I missing here?
Where to start, man? So what really put it on the map was the superfood, the chicken bake.
The chicken bake. That's a superfood?
Superfood. Yeah. You got the macro breakdown from Tanner?
52 grams of protein per chicken bake, I think is.
Yeah.
There's actually some controversy about what exactly it is. And that's what brought it to our attention is like.
Wait a minute. How much chicken? Because I know what a chicken breast is going to have protein-wise.
Yeah.
52 grams is like 2 chicken breasts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cheese in here too. You got to pump those numbers up on that.
But that's what.
So they're amino spiking.
Well, that's your concern. Is the concern that comes up? Like, how is there 50? And if anyone doesn't know what a chicken bake is, it looks like a slightly overgrown hot pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone.
Yeah, it's like a foot long hot pocket that has a chicken, bacon, Caesar-ish filling.
Okay,
I don't even totally know what is in there, but here's the sweet part of it is it's $4, so it's so incredibly affordable. You're getting 52 grams of protein. It's the perfect food.
Is there chicken in there?
Yeah, there's chicken in there. This is a quality establishment. They pride themselves on ingredients.
Well, now you have to pay a membership.
Well, yeah, but you really can't afford not to with the deal that you're getting on the back end of the chicken bake.
Okay, you technically have to pay them. You technically are supposed to pay a membership, but we were. Last time we were at Dr. Mike's house, we had a little thing. We wanted him to try the chicken bake on camera. We got him to do it. And Tommy was there setting up audio video equipment at Mike's place. And so I had to be the guy to go run and get fresh chicken bakes from Costco. I don't have a Costco membership. He does. So I'm like, what are we going to do? I'm like, you could give me your ID. And I'm like,
but they crack down on that now because people are sharing their Costco cards. So they're starting to get to the point where they want to check, they want to check the photo to make sure it matches you.
So I just quickly, because you can use a photo of it on your phone to get in.
Mm-hmm. The digital membership card here. Yeah. So I screenshot it. I send Tanner the digital card.
We take a picture of me against the blank wall, cut my face over his Costco card, and the rest is Costco history. So we could get Mike his chicken bake.
And just to show how like the extremes we've taken this to, we presented to the Massenomics crew the chicken bake challenge, and so we put an open offer out there that if anyone would eat nothing but chicken bakes for a week, we would foot the bill for it.
No other food, just
chicken bakes.
And chicken bakes.
And we had three brave souls step up to the plate. And I think the average number was it like four chicken bakes?
4 chicken bakes a day is what couple of the guys that put them down, they were doing like 6 chicken bakes a day. 4-7 straight.
Okay, so
and the takeaway from the amazing part, the consensus was I've never had a thirst like that in my entire, because the sodium level in like 1 is like over your daily intake.
Yeah.
And so when you're putting down 4 of these, like everyone's just saying they've never had that thirst in their entire life. And then what was the other? Was it constipation or diarrhea? What was the issue there?
Constipation, and actually a couple of the guys lost weight. Surprisingly, like on the chicken bake diet, they actually lost.
Well, they didn't eat enough.
I guess so. Part of it, they got so sick of it, they could, some of them could only shovel down so many more chicken bakes. Yeah. It was like a pseudo diet because at a certain point, all I can eat is chicken bakes. I don't want any more chicken bakes. I'm just not eating.
Yeah, but I'm wondering about the ones that maintain their weight.
Yeah.
Right, because now their sodium increases, so they're going to drink more fluid, so they're going to hold more intercellular water.
Right.
They bloated. Yeah. They should be a little stronger.
I think overall the takeaway training was good too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So one of the guys, Grayson, he's very lean, very cut, very muscular all the time. And I think he said he felt like his lifts went great that entire week.
So it's a peak week thing.
Yeah.
Not only that,
strategy.
but what would be the penalty if you were to actually create fake IDs for Costco. Right. We know what that would be with the driver's license.
There's some state federal laws.
I'm seeing some opportunity here.
Yeah, the black market Costco membership. Yeah,
what's the membership cost?
We're gonna get black.
I think the cheapest one is $60 a year. The executive, you know, if you're after that premium membership, you're talking $120 a year.
So $120. So this is easily a $40 project.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
But the other one is a slice of cheese pizza.
And this is like, you thought maybe the chicken bake seemed a little what's going on there. The cheese pizza is where things really go off the rails, because their macros, and granted, these macros are not publicly available. Like really the only spot you can find them is there's Reddit posts where people have requested the macro sheet. And so I think if you go to the kitchen and request it, they'll give it to you. But people have taken a photo of the macro sheet, posted it online. And the cheese pizza is where things don't add up at all. So they also serve pizzas. And if you get a slice of cheese pizza, do you remember what the numbers on that were?
I thought the cheese pizza is like 42 grams of protein per slice or something like that.
Okay.
For one slice of pizza.
And when we threw this at Dr. Mike, that was where he was like, I'm not buying that, because it was something like 42 grams of protein and I think it was like 30 or 20 grams of fat. And he's like, cheese by default has more fat than protein. And so that's where he was confused on.
Did you run the numbers on the calories just to see if it all added up?
Yeah, I think it did add up that way in terms of calories too.
A little suspect on how they're getting those protein numbers on the cheese pizza.
They're amino spiking.
I think they might be.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's Costco.
That's Costco. So it's all about that.
The chicken bake.
The chicken bake is really. We came out with a chicken bake shirt, and you know, it was
people love it.
Yeah,
like everyone relates to Costco at a certain level.
And we paid for all the chicken bakes in the chicken bake challenge. So I don't know. We shelled out like $500 in chicken bakes that week. So Costco got the
reward points.
Yeah, they got their
membership. A free membership.
2% kickback on all purchases with the executive membership. So again,
at least get a membership.
Yeah,
not have to use the fake one.
Well, and if Costco had an affiliate program, we definitely would have been making money, because we've had a lot of people message us saying, I got a Costco membership just to try out the chicken bakes. Like that's something we get that, I don't know, probably every other week, someone sending us a DM about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm educated on the Costco.
You know, we should have brought chicken.
I mean, it's a superstore, right?
Yeah, it's like most people know Sam's Club. It's that same thing, you know. But you do get some good deals. You know, I know I'm going to eat a Greek yogurt every morning. In a grocery store, those things are going to be like $1.50 a pop. You're getting those for 70 cents there. Mm-hmm. Eggs, when you can get them, eggs are cheap, milk's cheap. Depending on like your if you want like Fairlife protein drinks, things like that. A lot of it is damn near half price compared to a grocery store.
Like Costco has its exclusive Costco Fairlife chocolate milk that has 30 grams of protein per bottle versus the
26 and 22.
You're right. Yeah. It's like, no, they have the 30 gram.
Now you got to sit and process the price of that. They just threw out and left, protein. You know, like,
they're changing up the ratio on you.
Yeah. And they're probably amino spiking those too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So with your gym, it started 10 years ago?
Yeah. In in November, it'll be 10 years old. This November, it'll be 10 years old. Yeah.
Because I had down there 2015. Right?
Yeah. This November, it'll be 10 years old.
So 10 years. So big celebration party.
Probably. Actually, it's a funny question, but we do some big stupid parties sometimes. So we'll probably do something happen. I don't know what that looks like exactly yet, but we probably will actually do something. Yeah. Do something fun probably for it.
And how much has it grown since then?
Yeah, it's grown considerably in a number of ways. You know, now it's about 4,000 square feet, I think now is what it's at. And I don't really know that I want it to be any bigger than that. That's kind of where the size that I like it. There would be opportunity in our space to maybe take on a little more additional room, and I'm not sure we want to. I'm pretty good with the 4,000 square feet. And member wise, I probably talked about it last time too, but I don't know. It's not a commercial gym. It's not a private gym. It's some weird.
It's the thing with all the powerlifting gyms is you got to prove you want to go there. Like my favorite story that Tanner tells is how your filtering process to get people in the door or to weed the people out.
Yeah. So I guess to cut to the end of the question, we have about 70 members now. When it started, we had 10, and it's just been it goes up and down, but it just always tracks up a little bit, but it's kind of leveled off around there. And I'm very comfortable. don't necessarily want more. I don't necessarily want less. I want whatever it works out to be in the way that it works out in a way that I like it. And that comes to the filtering process. So there's no signs. You can't find it. You drive away, 5 feet from the door. You don't know it's there. It's down in the basement. No signs. I don't think I'll ever put up a sign because I don't want people to just.
And the signs are for a salon. There's a hair salon above.
Yeah, it looks like it's a hair salon.
People have no idea.
But people find out usually through a friend that goes there. They know someone, or they've heard about it. They go to our website, that sort of thing, and they'll usually email through our contact form. They'll send in an email like that. Hey, curious about the gym, what the rates are, that sort of thing. My policy typically, unless I know the person or I know the person that knows the person, they're already vetted for me, then they're okay. And it's not, when I say okay, it's not like, oh, they can squat 500 pounds or they can bench 400 pounds. It's okay as in no, this is a regular normal man or a woman that is going to just kind of fit the vibe and get it a little bit. That's how I generally say, you get it. If you get it, then you're in. But when I don't know them, I do not respond to the first email. If they're asking, what are the hours, what are the rates? There is no, some business people would say this doesn't make sense, but for this particular application, it does make sense. I do not respond. The second one, depending on how it's worded or what the questions are, I might respond. If I don't really like if I'm suspect by the way the first two are worded, I don't respond to the second one. If they message a third time, then I say, okay, this person really wants to find out about the gym. There's probably a reason they want to come in. Maybe they do like it. Or maybe in the second one they say, yeah, I power lift, or I'd like to do strongman stuff, and some things that start to make it so I can piece together that they would be a fit for the place. So that's usually the thing. It takes three attempts to come in. And if you made 3, that tells me, okay, you want to be here. And then when someone comes in and checks it out, I usually don't have them sign up for a membership. I say, no, you just come for a week. Don't even, fill out the liability waiver, nothing else. I don't want you to fill it out yet. That way they experience it for at least 3, 4, 5 training sessions. And then they'll kind of know, because there's a self-filtering thing where they'll decide it's not for them. If they can tell it's not for them. And then they made it three questions, the 3 questioning times. They made it a week of trying it. Then if they want to join up, I'm like, okay, here's the form. You're welcome to sign.
So 3 questions, 3 sessions.
Yes.
3 forms.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, yes. The rule of 3s. And if they make it that far, then that usually works. 99% of the time, if they make it through that, they're going to be a fit for the gym.
I would assume most of the people, though, that are coming are friends of people that are already there.
Almost all the time.
For the most part, yeah.
The other thing we get is people move into town, that are like, and
why?
Here's about seasonal workers, maybe.
Seasonal workers, yeah. So that is a good question. Yeah, I'm a little suspect in with why are you coming here? But yeah, if we get people coming in, moving to town, that sort of thing, and if they already know about Massenomics, that's an easy vetted process too. Oh, I listened to the podcast, or I've been watching your guys' stuff for years. Then I kind of know they get it.
The funnier one is when people come to town, they're new in town, and they look up gyms, somehow find Massenomics, and they go, oh, I didn't realize Massenomics had franchise gyms, because no one thinks it's based out of South Dakota. They think it's California, Texas, Ohio, or something. They go, oh, crazy that there's an affiliate gym in South Dakota.
Yeah. So that's the gym. Like I said, it pays for itself. And the biggest thing over the last couple of years is I've really just, I funnel everything back into the gym. I always have. It's not a profit. I don't use it to pay my bills or anything like that. It pays the gym bills, but then beyond that, we have enough members that it's just an equipment thing all the time. I'm just always stockpiling equipment, looking for the next piece to add into it. And I don't know, it's certainly within our area, the best, in my opinion. I'm the most biased person out here, but it's the best gym, and you could draw a pretty big circle on the map until you find something like it.
Yeah. So at 4,000 square foot, how close are you to not being able to fit any more stuff in there?
The funny part of this is if you'd asked him that 2 years ago, he'd have been like, yeah, it's pretty full. And then we came here and he goes, I realize you can really stuff a lot of stuff into it. Yeah, you can fit more. That's really
what I've learned is, no, if there's a piece of equipment I want, there is a way to make it fit. And I haven't gotten past that thought yet, right? Every time I get one more, I think, yeah, it's pretty full. And then I get another one and I'm like, no, we made it work.
You can always make it work.
You can always make it work. There's always a way to puzzle piece it together. That's part of the game.
Yeah, just recently as we're talking on the gym tour, it's probably the first time I've ever taken pieces out just to open it back up again.
That's what I was surprised. You'd mentioned it wasn't just this past weekend that some stuff was moving out.
It's been a process over the past couple months, but moving this stuff, the monoliths and the benches, is a bigger challenge. And so you got to get all the other crap out first, and then you're able to kind of like lay things out for that. But even when it was packed, there's still a way.
I do think it's noticeably more open in here this time than it was last time.
100%. But I can help you anytime that you have a clusterfuck and you're trying to figure it out. There's strategies, man. It's like this weight stack, this machine can turn this way so the stacks are against each other. That just opened up half a footprint for one piece.
Now you got another piece of machine that you can throw there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, how far do you really have to walk back on a squat? Like people walk back too far anyhow. So you're doing them a service, pushing it closer against.
Well, and some of that stuff I'd be like, oh, this is closing a walkway. And I'm like, how many walkways do we need? And I'm like, this is a gym, not a freaking walking track. You know, I'm like, what's the purpose of this place? It's not to walk laps, you know.
Well, I'm certain that Matt Goodwin, my sales rep, put the turf in here for that one reason. You know, to make sure, because before we always had a designated lunging area or whatever you want to call it, walkway, right, per se. But it always, right there, it's like 1, 2, there's like 8 pieces of equipment that can go right in.
Right.
But I can't put it over the turf, you know, but you could, you know, where in the place we had before this, we had a stronger logo that was painted on the concrete floor. That way, from any overhead shots, it looked really cool.
Right.
That lasted about 2 years
until it was covered.
And then it's like once you cover the S,
it
doesn't even matter. You know, so there's definitely always a way.
Yeah,
always. So with the gym, you know, the apparel and all that kind of came across. That was 2018.
I'd say the apparel stuff really ramped up in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, because we would have, you know, we'd make a t-shirt every 3 to 6 months when inspiration would strike, and we'd put it out there. And it for the most part, it was some friends buying it, or, you know, it wasn't randoms coming across.
Wherever we could con giving us a little bit of money to give them a t-shirt.
And it was, I would say it was probably even like 2018, 2019 when we started to take the idea seriously of, hey, let's do monthly merchandise drops.
Yeah, it's 2019. Okay. I jumped my timeline a little bit. The podcast started in 2016.
Yeah,
probably. Numbers start to.
Yeah, because we're at, we've done over 9 years of podcasting now, where we have a new episode every single Monday. We're on an episode, like, when we record next, it'll be episode 475. So we're 25 weeks off of 500, where we publish a new one. We haven't missed a Monday release date, almost to 500.
So what was why the first one?
Oh,
because that was, I mean, we're going back before podcasts were cool.
That's we actually say that all the time. It's kind of surprising. It was, the main thing was there was a guy when Massenomics was first getting going that kind of came into the group here, and he was big into podcasts. He was big into Joe Rogan at the time, and that was before everyone knew what Joe Rogan was, you know. And I think he just liked podcasting, and he was like, I got the stuff, I'll take care of it. Like, you guys show up to my house, we'll talk through some ideas and make it happen. And I know we always say this, the idea was like, okay, well, after the 5th week when we run out of things to talk about, we'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
You know, like we just said, we're closing in on 475 weeks now of.
Well, when it's about nothing.
Exactly.
You know, it's
that makes you think there wouldn't be anything to talk about, but that's the secret, how there's like an unlimited amount of things to talk about. Like, there's really very little fences.
Yeah.
So it kind of keeps it open that we can shift. And we even talk about it too. It's, I wouldn't say that it's not like we intentionally outlined it like, here's an era of the podcast where we kind of are focused on this and that format. And then we're going to switch to this era, and then we're going to move to this. And we have made those jumps, but it's never been, it wasn't like we intentionally sought out to do that at the time.
Yeah, like in 5 weeks, the format's changing to this. It's just kind of been that organic thing of, you're always putting stuff out there and you're seeing what works and what doesn't. And it sucks to make stuff where it doesn't work. So, you're always adapting to things that perform better and engage better. And sometimes that's actually way more fun to do it that way anyways.
Right. Because like a good example would be episodes, say 200 to 400. We had a guest almost every single week. We probably, in that span of 200 weeks, we probably had 170 different guests on the podcast. And that was our goal, is every week, who can we get on? Who's our wish list? Who's our reasonable list? Like, it's just, we have a never ending list. We're always adding to, always the next person. Who can we get? And that's the way it was for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And now we still have guests on sometimes, but what we learned is, we started to notice, at the time the guest did really well, but what we started to notice is, wow, some of these without guests, which is the format we used to do 5 years ago, we had shift 2 guests because they were doing better. Now we're like, oh, the ones without guests sometimes are doing better. So we're like, yeah, let's rotate this more, where we're doing like 2 with a guest, 1 without. And then it's like, oh, the one without keeps outperforming on average the other ones. And now,
and as you know, having a guest, you don't just show up and say, let's do, I mean, it takes some time. And
I know it takes time. Let's talk about
if you want a quality product, where you're just like, oh, what do we do now? Like, this might seem effortless. And if it does, it's because Dave knows what he's doing.
Right.
It's not just because he rolls in out of bed and is like, oh, I guess we're doing a podcast. There's some intention behind all this.
So we're like, oh, it's outperforming it, and it's easier for us also. And and it's not like we have to shift what we like doing. What I say is, maybe we have 10 things we like to do, and we're going to pick whichever 3 are working the best at that time. We're not going to completely not be ourselves and do something that's bullshit and not us. We're just going to shift. You guys don't like this quite as much right now. We're going to do this. And that happens to be just the 2 of us more often. So now we maybe have a guest every couple of months or something.
Yeah, I think we've had 1 guest in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. And so that's the format that we're doing now, and we're having fun with it. And that in a year might change again, and we might be doing something different, but that's kind of the format that we're rolling with now.
Well, I wonder with that, and I think we're in too small of a niche for this to really be an issue, is how many of those changes are actually just audience capture. Because we see this one does really well. So this topic goes really well. So then we lean into that topic, and then it becomes more and more and more. And then after a while, you're like, is this actually serving what the podcast was supposed to do?
Yeah. The other one we talk about with guests too, though, is especially when you go back let's say pre-COVID even, before it seemed like podcasts did have a boom in like 2020, people had more free time. They were checking out podcasts more. Before then, it was harder to come across long form content of someone you might be interested in, talking for an hour or 2 about a certain topic. And now with just the boom in podcasts, everyone knows what they are. Everyone that has something to say has been on 20 podcasts, if not more, while also having their own. And so that's maybe gotten a little bit diluted hearing from the experts.
I want to take a moment to give a shout out to my friends over at Massenomics. I use their podcast a lot when vetting guests for the Table Talk podcast. I also listen to it a lot just because it cracks me up. Their YouTube channel is great. The podcast is on there, but they also have home gym reviews. Their apparel line is amazing. The standout products for me are these drink spotters. Rarely is it used for holding drinks. We have one on the monolift that holds the collars in between sets, smelling salt, chalk, whatever. You'd be surprised at how much crap you can put into one of these things. Their stall mat coasters they brought out last time they were on the podcast. These things are great. Check out their website, Massenomics.com, as well as their podcast and YouTube channel.
Because there's just so much out there you can grab. And I think that's where that's become less successful for us too, is, we get this person on. Well, I've already heard them go through their shtick on 20 different podcasts.
We still like to have guests on.
Well, and that's, we always treat it like in our way too. Like we're trying to come at it a different angle.
Yeah, right.
And you do. Yeah. And so that is where we offer, a different perspective, but another thing we've noticed.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys do the same things that structure-wise that say I would do to prepare for a guest.
Oh, right? For sure.
Like, first off, for those people that are thinking about getting into podcasting, first know who the hell the guest is.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'll listen to a lot of podcasts, to get to know whoever the guest is going to be that I'm going to have on.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's a little bit easier. We can we can talk about how things are easier now just because of AI. Now it's a little bit easier, but you still need to listen for tonality. And sometimes you'll find a podcast of a guest with a friend and it's got like 20 views. I mean, it's not that big of a thing, but they're just talking like
just being themselves,
like big time. And those are the best topics,
right?
And when they get on a bigger show or whatever it is, they don't talk about that stuff, right? So you got to kind of find those nuggets. But when I'll listen to somebody on a different podcast, you learn sometimes, most of the time you should learn something about the guest, but what you learn is what not to do on a podcast. Because most of the podcasts that I'll go listen to people on absolutely suck.
Yes.
It's bad. You know, even at like 2.5, 3 times speed, it's still bad. You know, so the other thing I put out there is if you have a podcast, then don't ask a question waiting for the person to answer just so you can answer it yourself. Because you see that.
Just waiting for your turn to go. It's like,
right
it's about the guest, not you. Yeah, give them their
Exactly.
turn.
That's right on the money.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big. It's like, now there's so many of them. It's like, I'm not even going to bother listening to this one.
Yeah.
I already know what's going to happen. The guest is going to have 4 paragraphs out of 2 hours.
Yep.
And the host will be talking the whole time about the same shit that they've always said. Then the other one I'll see is the host doesn't listen. You know, and because somebody will be saying something great. In our heads, we'd be like, right there.
Yep.
There's right there. That's it.
You're making the mental pin right there. That we're digging in on
right
that
there. And then it's just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You went on to like their bench press. I don't know about their bench.
You had the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But with the people that have been on 100 podcasts or whatever it is, I think what the other podcasters forget is you want to have them on because you're curious about them. I mean, that's the first. Like, why? How do you pick your guest? Because I'm curious.
Right.
Whatever it is. But if people that know them go listen and then they say the same thing that they've already said, you know, on 50 other podcasts, it doesn't matter if it's Mike Israetel or somebody that's got a huge following. Their followers are going to be like, I've heard, and
we've seen this episode.
Even harder.
Yep, it's done.
When they have 10 years of their own content,
right?
How are you going to say something that their followers haven't heard before?
Yeah, like 5 times. Yeah.
Yes. Where the prep, I'm curious to how you guys were prepping before AI. Like, so.
Well, so this is like, we know. You know, we joke about being about nothing, but at the end of the day, there always is that component of strength and training. It's like, we know that's always going to be the central theme, and that's usually how people get into the Massenomics bubble. But what we always look for is, a lot of times we'll go back to Instagram and find their oldest posts we can, you know, before maybe they had this polished image of being a strength coach or a strength expert or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, look, they have way too many posts about this certain band or this movie or this type of food or cars or whatever that is. And we're like, they clearly had a passion for this thing. And most people, whether they still have that passion or not, if you're going to bring it up, they're going to be like, oh, the good old days. And like, you've totally kicked them off their train of, we talk about this. And that's what we're doing. Like, people like to get on their track, and we like to kind of jump them over here. And we know the second we've done that, like, all right, now we're the Massenomics show now.
Yeah. That kind of is almost the goal. Like, and you can literally see it in people's faces sometimes when they're so ready to, they're dialed in to do their thing that they've usually done every time. And then when you catch them in something that they're going to enjoy but completely didn't expect, you can literally see a light bulb moment where, like, oh, we're going to talk about that? Like, I can't wait.
How did you know about that? Like, like, you catch them off guard, and they're kind of like doing a backstep, like, what? Like, you hit me with that one? And are we going there? And then it's just like the conversation just turns.
Those are the nuggets that I was kind of talking about. You get those nuggets, and then all of a sudden they realize this is going to be a good time.
Yeah. We don't. Oh, we're not getting on the track here. We're going somewhere else.
And we still, like Tommy said too, it's revolved around the gym or around training, and we want to hear a little bit about that. And if we're going to have CT Fletcher on, or the world's strongest man, or whoever it is, kind of want to hear some of the, a couple of the classics too, just because I'm a fan of that stuff. I like that stuff.
And there's listeners that, don't follow everyone. So like they need that introduction as to why, what has this person done? What are their professional accolades? Why should I care? But then, let's get to who you are as a person and the interests and what makes you different and unique. And
what have been some of the, I don't want stumbling blocks. For instance, I had a guest on one time that was very short answers,
right?
And I didn't expect that. Okay, I never had it before.
Along that line, though, Dave, what would you prefer, the guest that's very short or the guest that's way too long?
Long.
You would pick the long one
because it's easier for me to.
I suppose, you got content at least to work with. Then
I don't know. I spoke too soon. I need to process that.
We've seen some extremes over the years. When it's done, we take a step back and we're like, what just happened there, man?
Yeah. I need to. Now that I know how to extend the short one.
Yeah.
That changed it. But the first time was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? And then you watch other podcasts, so you figure out how they kind of extend that. Do you have any moments that were kind of like that where you're doing the podcast and it's like, oh, wait a minute?
Oh, yes. Like internal panic has definitely set in before. I'm like, because we do our research, absolutely. And, but some people that we want on because we know they have a cool story to tell, but they really haven't told it. So you can only do so much research. You're looking at Instagram posts, you might dig up a couple YouTube things, Google searching, you might find a little bit, but you really don't know the way the person talks about it because it doesn't exist. And that's part of why we want them on because, we get to be the ones to have you tell the story. And then that happens where you ask the first question and it is a one-word answer on something that you thought there was a story or, in your mind, there's a story here.
Or you think you're going to spring this surprise on them and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, oh, that was just a coincidence that this was in the phone. It wasn't an interest.
That has absolutely happened. We do have strategies though for that too, where we have like built-in segments almost that we can choose to either do or not do that they're going to fill time and get people out of their comfort zone a little bit and whether they want to or not. Like where it's like, you can't help but participate in it a little bit. So we have some ideas of how to do that. But to this day, that happens where it comes up and I'm like, oh crap, like shift gears. We're doing this way different. The plan is out the window.
Yeah. But what it is though, like the first time that happens, you kind of start to realize that there's a skill here. I have to learn this skill. Yeah. Like I just thought I was going to talk to people. Yeah. Then it's like, no, actually you need to learn how to engage with people and communicate with people. Yeah. And I remember when that happened, I'm like, okay, I see the lack of the skill set. I'm going to just search like interviewing. Yeah. And it's all like job interviews and shit.
Yes. It's not the course on how to conduct it. Maybe now there is the course on how to conduct an interview, but it's not the most obvious thing.
I would say too, when we set out, you don't really think about that at the beginning, that's what your job is if you're doing that. That's not like what we went into it thinking like, oh, we're going to be
conducting
professional interviewers,
No, nobody does. But at a certain point,
it turns into that. It's weird though, because that's not what, especially in this, it's a lifting world. Like we like the lifting, we like the training, and now we're interviewers of people because we try to make content. It's a funny thought to me still, but that is what we do.
It is that turning point though, that I think that, a ton of podcasts don't last, 5 episodes.
We did numbers on it actually. 99% don't make it to if you make it to 100, you're like less than 1%.
Yeah, it was something like 70% only make it to, or don't make it past 10 episodes. Right. And then like 99% fail before 100.
Yeah. But it was like 7, I think 3/4 don't make it to 10 episodes.
But I think a lot of the reason for that is they realize what we just said. Yeah. That this is going to take a little bit more work. Or it's
not like I always heard, I've heard comedians talk about this as people go, oh, I want to be a comedian. And they're like, well, why do you want to do it? It's like, oh, you just go up on stage and just talk and tell jokes. It's like, that's all you do. It's like, for an actual comedian to be able to just go up in front of a stage and entertain people, make them laugh, like that takes so long to make that look effortless and like nothing. And not saying like podcasting is stand-up comedy, but it's kind of along those same lines that if you're doing it good, it does seem effortless and somewhat easy, where you can keep a conversation going, you have topics and you can improvise and keep it going on the fly.
Yes. So that's one reason. The other reason I think is they can't get guests if they want guests,
right?
Because they don't realize that a lot of people are going to ghost you. And,
well, actually, and people are busy. Like, you have one episode, and Dave's not coming on your podcast when it's just the second episode and no one's ever heard of you. Like, you'd never have free time if you said yes to every single opportunity.
Yeah. The ghosting thing is a real thing. I never get upset at people. It's just, it's happened to us 100 times, and it's just like we have to learn to roll with those. And
I actually appreciate the people that will say no.
Oh,
right.
Because at least they reply.
Right.
Just respectful of your schedule then. Yeah. Because we do that. We keep it live. We go, and it's like, all right, we're 30 minutes in. Let's get the guest on. The Zoom call's waiting or the phone call's going, and no answer. We're like, oh, we'll wait 5 minutes. Maybe they're busy. And so we're trying to fill the gaps. 5 minutes later, nothing. It's like, all right, I guess we're not doing a guest tonight. Keep the show rolling.
We can roll that into a joke, though, and then we all have a laugh about it. And it's, we've encountered just about everything at this point. So I don't know. It becomes fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Would kind of suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that would throw your brain.
We go into it. Yeah, we're going to chat a little bit beforehand. Then we get our guest on, and we'll chat for a couple minutes after, and then we're already 20 minutes into recording.
We can't shut it down.
Yeah, we got
now.
Now, what's plan Z here? We got to keep going. So that's come up too,
But now that we don't have guests much, we don't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
We do kind of so I was saying you got to go in with the plan and have this stuff. Now we kind of don't go in with the plan. We have our topics, like we have our to-do list that we keep where we're always throwing ideas in. But yeah, for the most part, if we're recording at 8:30 on a Wednesday night, usually we'll hop on Zoom I'm usually late. We'll hop on Zoom at 8:35. We'll say we good to go, and we just start the show. And
where do you pull the ideas from?
We keep a joint list that we both it's Asana is the program we used, but and then we both are always adding ideas, and there's sections and what kind of ideas, where does it go? But what we both do this is we both do because we can both see it, but we never want to, like, if I have a great idea, I want to spring it on him.
Yeah, I don't be a surprise.
I want to get natural reaction to this. Most of the ideas, we don't want to research them that much ahead of time because I want to get like his live take on it. So we're always like writing these cryptic descriptors of what the
to the point where a lot of times we forget,
like, what the hell was that?
Like, you wrote that in there. I'm like, no, I didn't. So like it says, Tommy, you wrote that right there. I'm like, oh, I did write that 2 weeks ago. What was that about? And sometimes you have to forget because we're being so ambiguous about it.
Trying to hide it from the other person, and then we spring it on it. So that's that. But that is the format. We're both always adding to this list, and then things are shuffling around, moving up and down if they're relevant or not.
And where are you getting the ideas for the list, though?
I would say life is what I would say. Observations.
Yeah.
You're just out witnessing things happen, and it's like, is that really how that goes? Or, this is cool, or this happened to me. It's just situations like that. And so we have, there's actually kind of two main topics. And the one is just random observations of life. You're dumping in there and getting our feedback and opinions on it. And then with the slightly more recent change to the format, we call it the title topic. And this is the one topic we're going to spend
in the lifting world.
Yeah, typically lifting world, maybe home gym related, something like that. But this is the topic we're going to spend more time on, and we're going to build the YouTube title and the show around this. So, it's something that's a little more optimized for search or engagement or something like that. And so that's the one that we will put a little more plan and thought into, because we want, 30 minutes worth of ideas.
Well, that one you would have to. Right?
Yeah, right. We do. That's the one. That's the one we're researching.
Yeah.
So like one that came up, we used to talk more about powerlifting and strongman specific topics. We do still do that, but it's shifted over the last year and a half that we talk more and more and more about equipment and home gyms. The longer we go, it gets more and more about equipment and home gyms, and that it just keeps shifting that way, So our primary topic a lot of times is going to be equipment or home gym, garage gym, basement gym related. And it keeps going that way. But a title topic that would come up in the world of powerlifting recently was like IPF banning the super thick knee sleeves. Everyone's talking about, got opinions. We've got a couple opinions, but we want to talk about it a little bit because it's relevant and people are talking about it at the time. So we're going to spend out of a 2-hour podcast, we're going to talk about that for like 20 minutes maybe. We got our couple personal opinions on it, but that's going to be the title topic. We talk for maybe 20, 30 minutes. out of a 2-hour-long episode that's mostly other bullshit of us laughing over stuff that shouldn't even be funny.
That's a weird one though, because I'm not on social media as much as people think. I mean, I'll literally go on there, scroll a few times to see what I can share to my story, then I'm out. And or if it's like a guest and I'm looking for that. And so if something like that pops up, the first thing that goes through my mind is like, it's almost like politics. It's like, oh God, do I want to spend the time, to really get to the root of this? Because it's obviously not what this person's saying or what this person.
Oh, and that is the thing. Yeah. You got to get the whole picture on it, which means you got to hear it from 10 different people. And so
it's like, oh shit, is this worth doing it? I know it's going to come up in the gym, and then the conspiracy theories start. And it's like, this is attractive. This is interesting. But the way we record the show, it posts later. So then it's like, is this going to have any significance when this post 6 weeks later? Yeah. And by then, everything that was discussed could just have been totally changed.
Yeah. And that's, I would say, like something like that I would consider under the current event umbrella.
Yeah.
There's very few title topics that we would have that would be considered a current. Most of them are fairly evergreen, talking about the rise of machines in home gyms or whatever else it is, home gym related. Like that stuff is, you could come to it 3 years from now and it would still be an interesting topic to discuss.
That's a tricky thing though, because I always want everything to be evergreen, right? But when you're playing the game, the current topic.
Oh, especially with YouTube and the way the algorithm works, it rewards you for being timely on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, where it's with Bugs, Eric Bugenhagen, when I had him on.
Yeah.
And that was a bigger delay because he was a bigger name. So you kind of want to space the bigger names out to kind of help with the YouTube.
Right.
And we were talking about the Paul Tyson fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I listened to it and it was.
So we had to clip it and post it, soon, right away. But then the actual podcast didn't post until...
Well, it was later. Just with the Huck Finn one, he was talking about, was it the start of the NFL season or? I mean, he was talking about the Bear, his pain as a Bears fan. Yeah. That just posted, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So you get that, we're in, we know what's going on. It was recorded a long time ago. So that's whatever for us.
Like the weekend or the week that the episode with Boogs came out, we were with him that weekend or week at Juji's and we're like, oh, we just listened on the way here. And he's like, yeah, that was,
November.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
So that's where the topics can become weird, where you got to figure it out. We'll go back to doing some live ones, that way we can get that traction, to have those current things that are there, from the live compared to the post, production.
Yeah.
But you want a gap, because if I go away for a week or have a heart attack and I'm in the hospital for, whatever it's going to be.
Need a little buffer.
You got to have some kind of buffer.
And see, that's what we work on such a short timeline. It's not unusual for us to record an episode on Thursday. It publishes on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're never more than 7 days out on, like we don't, as far as podcast episodes go, we're never banking those things.
YouTube, we're months out.
Yeah.
We do those differently. Like YouTube, we could.
Well, this trip, for example, we were telling this was today our 8th or 9th gym tour we recorded in 3 days. We're already sitting on a catalog of probably 8 other videos, and we post those once a week. So as of right now, we have 17 weeks with YouTube content that's just sitting. All it has to do is be edited, but that can be done, the week of, the day before, or weeks in advance. It's just however we decide to get to that one.
So with the gym tours, I have some questions here.
Yeah.
Like, what's the dirtiest, crappiest? This will be a good conversation because I used to do seminars for people.
Yeah.
And it could be I had one in a bomb shelter. It could be in a bomb shelter, or it could be in a university. And a lot of times I didn't even know where I was, as you probably are as well.
Right.
You don't know where you're going until you actually get there.
Yeah.
I would say this. So what makes ours a little different is that typically we do almost exclusively home and garage gym tours. I'm not going to call this a commercial facility, but like a gym like this isn't the norm for us. Typically it's a guy that he has either it's his basement or a 1 or 2 stall, 3 stall garage.
Juji's is like this.
Right. Well, that's the exception. Yeah. Donnie.
Juji's, Donnie's.
So you can stretch it out, I guess, to private. Which would be kind of like your gym.
Yes, we do private. Yes,
that's a lot of home gym. Not a lot, but a good percentage of home gyms will turn into that.
And a lot of them that we go to they at least have like 3 buddies that come over and train with them.
Yeah.
that a lot of them are like that because the gyms are so nice or, so well equipped, then they want to share it with people anyways. And that is true. It's home and private gyms kind of covers what
we've only done one actual commercial gym. And again, it was someone we kind of knew and had a bit of a relationship with. So we kind of knew what we're getting into. But what makes ours different is now that we've done, I don't know, 30 of these in the past year, whatever, every single person we built a very vast Massenomics network of supporters. And so we have on our website this certified Massenomics training facility map where people can pay to be a certified Massenomics training facility. And I mean, that's the ticket to get you in on a gym tour. And so what we do is, like, we know we're coming to Ohio. We pull up the Ohio map. We look for all the pins and we start plotting out where, this person's here, this person's here, this person's here. And we know all these people. We have never done a gym tour where it's a person we've never met, have no previous interactions with of any kind. And every one of the people know who we are, has been supporting us. So we already have this built-in rapport. Like, there's never a learning curve of who is this guy? What do we do? Like, so we kind of know what we're getting into for most of them.
Kind of, but all you're seeing of that is
a couple Instagram posts.
And the other thing though is the people we're doing this with, there's a term that gets thrown around called home gym nerd. And
you lean into that term. That's not a negative.
Yeah, we mean this as a positive. These people have taken their obsession or their passion to an extreme.
Yes.
And what we say, we've said this multiple times, is 30 years ago, you got into cars or motorcycles, or in our part of the country, maybe hunting. Like, maybe that was the
gun collectors that never shoot.
Yes,
right.
Like, that was the thing you got. Or you got your Corvette and you're out there polishing it every single day, and you take it out 3 times a year because you're in the Midwest and it's raining all the time. In the last 10 years, 15 years, this home gym thing has opened up where things are curated to perfection. There's collectible items, the hacking of customizing pieces to, you don't need to do it, but you can do it.
We live in some crazy times right now where there's not a day that I don't go on the internet and I see some BS crap about this research study or this research study. This isn't new. I've been in this industry for 4 decades. One thing that's helped me is 8 years ago, the Mass Research Review started and became a godsend. The Mass Research team are professional researchers that are also meatheads. So they've done this great job of being able to take all these topics and put them into this research review that I get every month. I'm excited to partner with them. I spoke with Eric Helms about this on the podcast. It's simple, it's easy. They're offering a 20% discount to all podcast listeners. The code is elitefts20. When you join, you get the research review, which is going to be sent to you every single month. That has 7 to 9 articles in there. The archive, which is 1,500 articles, thousands of videos. Just head over to massresearchreview.com and use the code elitefts20. The link will be in the description.
And so people have taken these to an extreme, and for the most part, the people we're working with fall into that category of they are
home gym nerds.
They are home gym nerds. This is their passion. This is their hobby.
Varying levels of lifting to go along with the home gym nerd. You can find a home gym nerd that barely touches his equipment. There's also a home gym nerd that is a world level power lifter.
Yes.
And they're really the common thread more than anything. It's not the lifting. The common thread is the gym, the environment. It's building that man cave, that third area of the house. And that's kind of the thread that connects all these people.
So if I was to relate this back to, say, the gun collector, right? You'll have some people that have 50 guns and they don't shoot any
just
of
get
them,
started.
Right? Then you'll talk to the other guy that just has one and doesn't understand why you would ever have more than one, but you should be really good with the one that you have.
Right.
And then a whole spectrum in between.
It's 2 hobbies. There's 2 separate hobbies. They're you think on the surface they're related, but the hobby is collecting and using. In the gym world, it's getting the equipment, curating the equipment, and using the equipment. Some people like both hobbies. Some people really only like one.
Yeah.
And we find people that are
and I did
bridge the gap.
What was eye-opening to me and for us, and where there was this content shift, is we had Massenomics Gym, and Tanner has curated a ton of great equipment over the years. We got all the good stuff, you could say. And what had happened was about 2.5 years ago, we call it Western Northeast South Dakota. I had left Western Northeast South Dakota. I moved to a different city in the state, about 3 hours away. And this was my first experience in a commercial gym in 8 years or whatever it was. And
It's like, holy shit,
damn,
this is what a commercial gym is like.
We had episodes for weeks on end where I'm like, dude, I got to tell you the stuff I saw today. Like, you would not believe it. And again, like, I'm not knocking these people. I mean, at times, yes,
I will. We are.
Sometimes it's like you don't know what you don't know, and you're not being a nuisance to anyone, but you're just clueless. Yes. And other times it's like, no, like you were the high school kid, you're trying to squat 500, you've dumped it off your back 3 times now with no spotters while your buddies watch you. It's like, that's just stupid. Like, that doesn't make sense. So you see this wide spectrum, and I quickly realized after like a year of that, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need that training environment where things are a little more serious. And in a different era, people would say, well, you find the powerlifting gym, go there. And that was typically what you did. But we're running, I have 2 different businesses I run. We both have families, kids, and you know what? Time is a valuable asset. Yes. And that's where I learned, I took the step into the home gym. And once I started doing that, I was very much of the practical sense of like, you need a rack, you need plates, you need a bar. After that, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
And then that was I'm like, no, it's like, this is what it is. That's what you need to get strong. I know this. And then you quickly realize it's like, well, yeah, but this is really nice, and this makes the room cool, and this is fun to have this, and people talk about this, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm at Home Gym Con. I get it now. I see what the hobby is here. I do like to think that I play in both the hobbies, or both of them fairly well, the collecting and the lifting.
You do.
But I do see where the rabbit hole is easy to go down one of those and forget maybe why you're there.
Yeah, it's changed since the pandemic, because home gyms, when we would outfit home gyms before, that's completely different now.
Yeah.
It's 2 entirely different worlds. And whereas before it was kind of what you were saying, but as I was talking on our gym tour, the way I had mine originally was to be in between the times I would go to the gym. Mm-hmm. So anything I put in there was for use.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so before the pandemic, it was home gyms. People were buying things that they were going to use that may not be in the gym that they were at. It was a different thing. So a lot of times it really wasn't the rack. It was like the glute ham raise, the reverse hyper, the things that they didn't have there. So they'd go to the gym and they'd be able to do this in between. And during lockdowns, racks were being sold left and right.
Yeah, that's right.
And the whole time I kind of see where I see a lot of things where this is going. It's like, these are going to sell really well. Then they're going to be real popular on eBay and Facebook.
Marketplace is going to become a big hobby.
So it's the industry is going to go up, then it's going to go way down real fast because of that. Bars the same way. Mm-hmm. Bar sales are through the roof. Now hardly anybody sells bars. Right. Because if you need a bar, it's pretty easy to find a bar. It's kind of commoditized. And where the whole time I'm thinking, how many of these people are going to end up just selling it on Marketplace? I didn't see the collector thing coming. Right? Yeah. That was the weird one.
Right.
Right. I saw hints of it, where every now and again beforehand, somebody would return a power bar because the sleeves had bars.
There was a blemish.
And you're like,
who gives a shit? It's going to happen the first squat workout.
Your take is, who gives a shit? Aren't you going to use it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's your first response to that. Yeah.
Then it started to form that, I think kind of what's going on is when they have guests over for the summer, they want to show people their gym and they want everything to be like the shiny gun collector where everything's polished and looks just great and don't care if they use it and so forth. Like, that's weird, but that kind of emerged during that time period. And now it's the other thing that's always kind of happened is they'll have the home gym, a couple of their friends will start coming over, and then a couple more want to come over. And then it moves into sometimes as small as just a storage unit.
Right.
And then from the storage unit, they don't want it to be big. Like 4,000 square foot is going to be about the cap.
Right.
Because they don't want to deal with the headaches owning a gym.
Which there are headaches. That's why
even good members still maybe inadvertently create some headaches.
Yeah. When people didn't pay money for things themselves, even the best people, they don't give a shit about it.
Most people. This was, we had the podcast tour with Donnie, and Donnie, Donnie can tell stories for days, and he's the salesman, the spokesman. He can go on and on, and he says, when you have a gym, you take the most pride in, I spent hours researching and picking out the perfect thing, and nothing's going to grow your legs like this specialty machine. And his story is the Legosaurus. He goes,
but what is the Legosaurus?
The H squat.
Yeah.
He's like, we got a sheet to cover the whole thing, and I had a sign, and I got everyone in the gym's attention. I got on the megaphone, and I said, Legosaurus, and we took angle grinders to the base, and sparks are flying. And he goes, everyone looked over and kind of said cool and walked away and went about their day. It's like, that's what guys, no one cares about your stuff as much as you do. And it's the same thing with home gyms. You know, you spend, or in the case of Massenomics, you spend hours like, is this the perfect bar? Is this the one? And, you know, you want the right thing, and then it shows up in the gym, and people are like, oh, it's another piece of equipment. All right, throw it in the pile, and, you know, let's do rack pulls with it right away, and that type of stuff. So, no one takes that pride in it the way you do.
Or the bars. You know, they fucking the bars up. Like benching or deadlifting or squatting with a deadlift bar. You know, stupid
happens all the time.
Like that. And that's like right over that 20-person mark.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Then you start getting into that little weird territory.
That's true.
Where that migration, I think, will continue. You know, because kids. This is when it kind of happens. Is when the kids get old enough that they don't have to be home. Then it's like, you know what? I don't want to be home all the time if they're working from home. I train from home, I work from home, I need to get the fuck out. Now my kids are actually in school. Then that's when they'll go to a commercial gym, kind of like what you did, or what I'll do when I'm traveling, and be like, oh my God, you know, and there's a lot of things that make me want to rant about that whole thing. And, but it's good to visit, to be reminded.
It is. That's what I kept saying is we think, you know, we're for the most part, people that understand how to follow a program, do lifts correctly. And like, you forget that most people don't even just straight up know how to squat at all. Like and I'm the first person to say, I don't even care much weight's on it. I'll have way more respect for the guy that he puts a plate on and he just does proper squats and he's doing a good set of 5, whatever it is, than the guy that's throwing on 315, doing a quarter squat for a single, throwing it in and calling it a day. And it's like, come on, man, like maybe just do something right. And you forget that when you're not at a gym where people put a little more effort in and take it seriously, that's not the norm, is to see lifts being done correctly in these commercials.
Loads.
Yeah, not at all.
You know, and I'll always go to, it depends on how I have to train while I'm away. If I have to do something that's kind of serious, then I'm going to go to like the powerlifting, bodybuilding type of gym, and you don't see it as much there. But if not, I'm going to go to like the fancy commercial gym because I want the steam room sauna and all the other kind of shit, right? And recently I do a lot of cardio before I train. So where I was at last week, you know, so I got 30 minutes on the treadmill. There's a funny ass fucking story aside from all that. You know, you walk in during the busy time, all the cardio shit's full, right? It doesn't matter where you go. You kind of know it going in, like, fuck, I'm going to have to use the assault bike nobody uses, whatever. But there's 4 treadmills that are just, nobody's on them. There's like maybe 60 pieces of cardio equipment all being used. And I'm like, they got to be broke. Like, but fuck it, you know, I'm going to go look and see. So I get on there, turn it, it's a true treadmill, turn it on, it's working fine. I'm like, whatever, put my earbuds in and just start walking and start looking around and like, what the fuck? You know, then I look up and CNN is on the TV. I'm in South Carolina, right?
And it's like the CNN.
And I'm like, you know, and now I'm like self-conscious, like, oh my God, you know, they think I'm the fucking, it's funnier than shit. I got over that real quick. But when I'm looking around and you're watching these people, and it's not the people's fault because this is a bigger gym, right? It's a big commercial gym that people pay whatever for. And there's fitness instructors on the floor and there's personal trainers too. And you watch these, they can't even use the machines right. You know, it's everybody that would go from like this machine to this machine. Nobody's adjusting seats. Sometimes they're not even adjusting the fucking weight. And they're all like these quarter reps and they're ignorant. You know, these are like 40,
they just don't know. They just
like 40 to 60 years old. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying not to get mad because I'm older now and you shouldn't do things like that. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, how can you have these people working at this desk or walking this floor that can't show this old person that maybe doing a 4-range of motion would make their joints feel better?
Right.
You know, but they don't. And I'm like, the trainers suck. Right. And
I've seen ones where multiple occasions in multiple gyms where the trainer doesn't stop talking. It doesn't matter what they're putting the person through. They're just, it's podcast time. They're just having a conversation. And I'm thinking, how seriously are you actually training this person if they never even have to stop to catch their breath, you know? It's just conversation time the whole way through.
When I'm in the locker room, and I almost said something, but again, I'm older now. I don't do this kind of shit. Two of the trainers were talking to each other, and they were talking about, it was RFK related, but it was like food additives and, you know, big food, big pharma and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, you're the front line of defense and you suck. Like, you have people here that are willing to actually do things better for their health and you suck, you know, and it's that just, and I like to be reminded of that, right? Because you do that, then when you go back downstream, you know, to the smaller gyms where that people actually give a shit, you know, and the other members are trying to help, but these members can't help the other members because they don't know, they're ignorant. You know, they haven't been
the blind leading the blind.
And you break it down further and you get into like the home gym stuff. A lot of those people nail down their stuff because they have no other option for education except to look online or hire a coach or whatever, unless they don't train.
Right.
You know, so it's weird how that, you know, at the very highest. Is that a way to even explain it?
Is the highest? Is it the lowest?
Yeah, the most expensive gyms, I suppose we could probably put it that way, because these are multi-million-dollar facilities that are being built. You know, the training's the worst and the coaching's the worst. And as you distill all the way down, all that becomes better, I believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they're not playing the volume game, the number game of they need 5,000 members.
Well, just from the personal side, though, too. You know, if it's just you training in your own gym, the personal accountability is pretty much you.
Right.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to put the blame on your online coach, but ultimately you're the one that has to, you know, if you did it or didn't do it.
Yeah.
So maybe it all plays into personal accountability.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm processing right now. Is that what it really is? Because the ignorance will fall into that whole thing.
Right.
And so with those tours, though, has there been any that you've walked into that you're like, and this is, I get a lot of these questions are tough questions because it's the same as if you were to ask somebody, hey, tell me about the craziest shit that you've ever seen in the gym.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go through my mind, but I can't say it because it's going to call somebody out or they're going to know that I'm talking about them. But are there any gyms that you've walked into that were just blew you away that this is a home gym?
Routinely. And actually, before we came on this trip, I think I had made the comment to Tanner, like, okay, we've seen some just insane places. Like, let's be real, like nothing really surprises us anymore. Like, it's just, you just have more of it than maybe the previous guy. It's just, it's nothing surprising though. And then now there's been like 3 times this trip we're like, all right, man. Yep. I'm surprised again. Like, it's just impressive how people can continue to take this to a bigger level. And you know, whether that's through machines or vintage equipment or just the way the entire space is built, almost like a commercial facility. We still get surprised. Yeah, and the surprises are always in good ways. We haven't had any surprises yet that have been to a negative level.
Torture chambers in the basements.
Oh, really?
Don't get stuck out of yet or anything. But to name some specifically that, just for people listening, it's worth going to check out just because you honestly got to see it to believe some of it. So his name's Efren in Southern California. He probably has the largest collection of vintage weights in the world. I mean, he's one of the large. That's his gym. It's maybe like a 3-stall garage. Honestly, watch the tour. Not self-promotion. Just like if you're listening, you'll get the point of reference of what I'm talking about here. But it is a museum, and not just in the sense of he has this old stuff. He has displayed it. It's all lit and displayed, and like it is a museum. If you're into equipment, he has like the world's best museum on plates, barbells. You know, he's got, this was used in the 1948 Olympics in
Great Britain.
Great Britain, and you know this.
And I mean, he's a historian. You know, he knows the full fact. He has stacks and stacks of magazines from the 50s and 60s that he studies, and he starts putting together the dots of this is connected, because a lot of this stuff gets lost through time. You know, his company popped up and made weights for 5 years and disappeared, and he's connecting the dots on this stuff. And if you have any interest in that, it's so incredible to watch. You know, I don't have a whole lot of love for this vintage thing. Like I never got it. And then I left there. I'm like, man, this is impressive. Like, this is interesting. This is cool.
Dave Tate here from Elite FTS to talk to you about bands. We've been a supplier of bands for almost 2 decades now. So I've known my way around the band landscape. When I'm talking about bands, I'm talking about floss bands, long bands, short bands, bands you can use for resistance training, mobility training, body weight training, and flossing. One of our most popular bands, or actually our most popular bands, are the long bands. The long bands are typically used the most with squats, bench presses. Our floss bands are bands that you wrap around the joint to be able to help with mobility, circulation. And the short bands are designed for shorter range movements, bench press, deadlifts, and a lot of times people will use them with resistance machines to help accommodate the strength resistance curve. Head over to elitefts.com and look for bands in the toolbar or blowout menu.
Yeah, whether you're into it or not, there's no doubt that that is a one-of-a-kind place. Like, it's like an awe-inspiring thing to go through it.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, you go to somewhere like Jujimufu's, where it's a commercial facility that one guy happens to own, and it's like a gym playground. Anything goes there, and you can make it all happen. And there's levels through that where you look at homes. Someone that you had some experience with some weights too recently.
No Way Jose.
Yeah, his name is No Way Jose, and he's a competitive power lifter. He's going to try and make the Mexican
IPF
world team here, and he has a real shot at it. And you go into his gym, and it's in his basement, and that thing is curated to perfect. I mean, he has the full Eleiko comp set that was used at Worlds. He's got 5-6 prime machines that he's managed to disassemble and get down into his basement. I mean, these are machines with weight stacks.
Yeah, I know.
And, but you walk in, you're like, I don't know if this was in my town, this would be the nicest gym that exists.
Yeah.
And and then there's just every level in between that of guys that are doing some DIY stuff.
That's the interesting stuff too. DIY.
Really
the DIY stuff that we've personally been like, you should be trying to sell this.
There was two yesterday where I walked away. I'm like, how does a company not sell this? This is better than anything I've seen on the market. It's more efficient. It's easier to set up. And I'm like, how do some of these things not exist? And that's another thing that is coming around though, where these guys do tinker and mess around with a lot of stuff in their gym, and they are coming up with some really cool product ideas.
Yeah.
Because maybe someone more in our line, it's like, yeah, you show up, you take care of the program for the day, and you get out of there. Where these guys are just like, what could I do to make that better? And they're sitting and stewing on the idea for days on end. And then they have the technical know-how to make stuff out of wood or 3D.
And they've all got 3D printers, and they're all coming up with stuff 3D.
And then they've through the network have gotten familiar with metal fabricators or even these companies. And so you're starting to see these companies, teaming up with people and bringing some pretty cool stuff to market, actually.
There's things that 'cause some people will approach me like, this is the greatest idea. And there's things that they don't understand.
Yes, we do talk about that a lot.
Yeah, yes, we've said that a lot, where actually just the idea a lot of times is the easy part.
Yes.
Can this be produced? Can this be mass produced? Can this be marketed?
Can you do it at a price that ever would make sense to sell
when you do all those things, is it a business in a way that it produces a profit? Because maybe no one's done this because at the end of the day, you can't actually make money doing this.
Yes.
And a lot of people maybe forget that from idea to product, there's about 100 steps along the way.
Yes.
And almost every one of those boxes need to be checked before you actually have an item.
And each one of those boxes cost money.
Yeah,
exactly.
That the company would have to put into, and then you still don't have proof of concept. So then you could get all through this, make sure it's not already patented, which a lot of things.
And that's another one too. Like, just because you have the idea, it doesn't mean there's 5 other patents that may be infringing or.
There's probably a really good chance there are.
Yes.
Right. So then it's like, you got to find if there's a way around all that. But once you get through all that, then you get to that point where, okay, here it is, the minimum that can be made, because the steel.
That's another huge,
deadlift bars are a good example of this one, because we used to sell Texas Deadlift Bar, then parted with them during COVID. They wanted to go direct to consumer. I get it. Have no problem with that. It makes more sense. But then to do our own, the amount of steel that, because the diameter,
27 millimeters, 28.5 or 29.
There you go. Yeah. And the amount of steel that has to be purchased just to make that is equal to 800 bars. right? With the most we ever sold.
Oh, 800 bars, like that's an investment, you know.
Well, the most we ever sold in 1 year was 70.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't understand why you guys don't do that. I'm like,
10-year supply.
A decade supply, you know, and that's still not going to be at the price that they're going to want.
Right.
You know, that's just the price.
That's the entry price for you to be able to even consider doing it. Yeah.
You know, or if it even comes down to 50 pieces or whatever it's going to be, it's kind of like the t-shirts. You know, you put it out, maybe, but now you could be sitting on 50 of those, and now you're 10 grand out, and the person's like, "What the fuck, man? That was my idea." They're selling it, and like, we sold 3, dude. You know,
Yes.
But something will pop through the pipeline. But there's those steps, you know, that kind of fall into all that. Then there's also the other shitty part to where somebody may see it and just steal it.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
know, which
Like
will happen.
a smaller company or person might be able to move way faster than, you know, these massive behemoths of companies that exist nowadays.
Yes. So but I think most tweaks to any piece of equipment has come through that same process.
True.
If it's somebody in a gym where it's like this.
Well, and everything is just a variation of something. I mean, how often is something like, we've never seen this before? It's like, well, there's product categories and then there's just twists on that. You know, everything's building off of something else. It's all a remix. Nothing's really original.
I mean, if you have enough time, and with AI, we'll be able to find it sooner. You know, because you can track everything back to even before it was patented to somebody else that was fucking around kind of doing the same thing.
Right.
You know, with all that. So I kind of see how the knockoffs, and that's a bad term, you know, because I don't even see it as that, because there's always going to be lower price alternatives for everything. You know, I'm sure somebody's got a chicken bake that's half the price of the chicken bake, you know, to be able to go.
They actually sell a 6-pack in the frozen aisle, but we've been told that the macros on that do not align with the food store ones.
Yeah.
It's not.
And the made in the USA really doesn't mean shit either, you know, so that throws that other loophole in there, where if you want to try to do it in the USA, most people don't give a shit. They care way more about the price.
Yeah, most people have a budget, and it's either, can I do this or not? And if the only option was made in the USA, a lot of people would be like, I'm not doing it now, because that's just not an option.
Well, the customer won't pay it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's just the fact. You know, where importing is going to be cheaper, but then with the importing comes quantity. You know, to be able to get, you know, to do it, you got to bring in 200 pieces or whatever it's going to be. And it kind of goes into that weird ass rabbit hole but with a lot of these people, what I would suggest, if they're doing, what do you say it? Laser print, not laser.
3D printing. Yeah.
Sell it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we've told. It is now. That's kind of the start of Massenomics was, we had a t-shirt idea. You have an Instagram account. You pay the $20 a month to start. I mean, there's 1,000 little website builders. That's the proof of concept right there.
Yeah.
And if you don't need to build a $5,000 website and pay a marketing agency thousands of dollars to take product photos for this and this and this, just to see if something works. It's like, you go build the most basic website, you take a few pictures with your phone, you put it out there. There's Facebook groups, there's Discord groups, there's social media, and that's your proof of concept. You could be in for maybe a few $100s, and you know, maybe you spent tens or hundreds of hours of time to figure this out, but you can be in, test the waters, and if it starts resonating, all right, start funneling some of that money back in, and you can reiterate and start building this up.
I mean, best case scenario, they're going to sell 1 or 2 a week. Like, they can probably print that.
Right.
I mean, now if somebody orders 1,000, that's like not gonna.
Well, but
that's a good problem to start to figure out.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
You're on a different level.
Yeah.
You got different things. But it's not like back in the days, you know, I've heard you guys talk about this, where you're taking out a magazine ad in the back of whatever and hoping someone sees that. Like, you can get the word out, especially if you have something that's new, novel, interesting. The community is always looking for the next thing, and that will resonate with people. And the word will get out if it is.
If they say, look, we've sold 300, then they approach a company, there's that proof of concept. Then that makes more sense. But they may also decide, I don't want to do that because I like the full profit.
Right.
And more than
I don't want to hold thing.
I like this being a hobby, and it's not all consuming. And I don't have 1,000 customer service inquiries that because, you know, just one thing leads to another. And
of course,
like growth isn't always good for the sake of growth. You know, at some point you can be happy with certain things being what they are.
Yes. So what else have you seen through the community since the pandemic? Because there's been ups, but right now it seems to be decreasing.
Right. Well, there's
and it's going. Put this out there. It's going to decrease because the increase was
a weird boom,
a very weird boom.
Yeah. Right.
So what the question is, where's it going to plateau?
Right.
Right. So just because I think powerlifting is decreasing right now too. Like that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's still over where it was before it increased. But where's that
Settling.
plateau? That plateau will probably be higher than when it started.
Right. Yeah. And in the home gym world too, there are trends and shifts, just like everything else. Like in powerlifting, there's in training styles, it'll come around to where, RPE is popular or whatever style programming, it shifts and comes back. It might have a different name and same sort of thing. But the home gym, even the home gym equipment space is kind of like that.
The belt squat cycle, the Smith machine cycle, the adjustable dumbbell cycle. Like there is the one that you can see companies latch onto, like, ooh, there is, there is some room for innovation in this market, and a ton of marketing dollars, R&D dollars go at that. And you can see when those happen in certain years that's what's getting pushed. And what we always talk about is like, we're not the strongest people in the world. We've been training a long time, but we know what it takes to get stronger. And it's like, yeah, but I get there's some hype around this, but does this even fit in what I do for training? Like take a step back and be like, yeah, that's really cool and everything, but do I even use that? Like it was available in a commercial gym and I didn't use it. Why do I think I need to make room in my home gym for this? Yeah. So it's just reminding yourself that like, don't get caught onto these trends just because it's getting pushed down your throat. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, where do we see it going? I don't know. Well, this was a thing we just talked about recently is as, barbells. There was, when Massenomics started, you wanted a deadlift bar. It was like, you can find a reseller for a Ricky Dale bar. Crane. You somehow this website and kind of a website. And maybe get your hands on an Oki deadlift bar. It was like every bar was kind of like this. You had to know a guy that knew a guy. And now it's like, you want a bar, that's a commodity. Like, pick your flavor, pick your finish. There's 1,000 options, and and none of them are bad. Once you get past like, I don't know, $250, you got a pretty damn good bar. Yeah,
for the average person.
Yes. Right. And it's just like, you can't, there's not, like back in the day, it's like, yeah, maybe you don't want the cap one with the bolt in the end. Like, that's probably going to bend once you get a little weight on there. But now like people just make good products. So you're starting to see these things mature of like, well, the barbell space, it kind of feels like that problem's been solved. And then specialty bars, and we were talking about this a little bit. It felt like for a while you were seeing all these new specialty bars popping up, and I don't know, the 2015s even until somewhat recently. But now again, we've seen a lot of specialty bars, like that market's maturing. And then there was the machine thing, is what we were just talking about recently on the podcast, is some of these spaces have just matured so much and there's just not a lot of room left, or there's no that easy low hanging fruit. And so people are starting to move more towards machines in their home gym. And that's a whole nother level when you're talking machines from a price standpoint, a space standpoint. It's kind of crazy. Before the pandemic, it would be pretty easy to say plates, dumbbells, even kettlebells, they were all commoditized. Right. Yeah. You could find them, in marketplace for cents on the pound. Yes. It will go back. It probably is there again now. Like it would, if it was a home gym person, back when I was doing the sales, I would tell them like, I can get you the plates, dude, but just look in your news classified ads. Right. You can probably, there's somebody down the street. High school got all new weight plates. Yeah, they just want someone to take these things. Yeah. It's like, it's stupid to buy a new plate. It's a fucking plate. Yeah. Just get the plates. And bars are that way now as well. Back then, I don't think the bars were as, but the tolerances have been, geeked out on so hard. People are paying attention, and companies have responded and stepped up. Yeah. And there's more better bars. Right. So before it was like a Texas Power bar was really it. And you get in deadlift bars and squat bars, but they don't sell the way people think they sell. That it's just not like we used to sell a 65-pound Mastodon squat bar. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It sold like 4 a year. Yeah. And then when we no longer sell it, people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you quit selling it." I had the same 5 in the warehouse for 6 years. Man. You should have bought a few more when we were selling it. Yeah. It's the whole thing, though, of what people think they want versus what they actually spend their money on are two wildly different things. Or they can't pay the price, or they don't want to pay the price that it's at because you can only produce small quantities, of what that is. And where with the specialty bars, I think what happens there, because I got a fuckload of specialty bars and still kind of working on them now, is I'll sit there for hours trying to think of what could be a different thing. And it's so
and it's not sad. Like everything's been made.
Right.
But, but the other side of my brain is like, no, it hasn't.
Yeah, there always is something
There's
else.
always something else. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're getting a smaller piece of what you know what's available though.
Or I'll get an idea behind one and then I'll run it through the fabricator. Then I get the price back and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I can't sell it for what this is going to be. You know, or I could, and everybody's going to bitch, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just a crazy thing. But the machines, that's a weird one in my brain because I see it happening because we have people purchase some of the things. And what's weird to me is they already have the place and it doesn't have, like, where's the space going to go? You're like, where's
You
the
always
space
find
go? It's different though when it's a one-car garage.
There is only so many
Basement. It's not like you can move shit around.
Right.
You know, it's like what, you know.
Well, and that's the one thing we've seen though is you know, for us, we know what we need to get. You know, we know.
Yeah.
You know, you might need your mono, we might need a rack, whatever. You know, you need your key pieces, and a lot of things is people kind of have their turn with something where it's I want this machine for 6 months and I used it and I got what I want out of it, and now I'm kind of like a car. I get out of it and I'm ready for an experience with a new one for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow.
that was
What's the depreciation of that?
well, yeah. I mean, and there is, you know, some guys do a good job of playing the used market, but
Yeah.
it is people just want these experiences with different machines for a while, and that's part of the new novel experience of it all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy though too, because if it's a selectorized machine,
Yeah. There's some labor in just getting that moved around too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. It reminds me of, I mean, Matt still does some installs now that he'll come back and be like, man, this was on the 3rd floor, you know, or this was, and we had to be taken all the way down, and every, you know, the weight stack, you could carry 4 plates at a time.
Yeah.
It's just, oh God, the labor is something to be able to do that.
One thing we were talking about is like, let's say the SS yoke bar. You know, you said that, what did that come to market 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah,
something
probably
like that.
15 years ago.
I mean, when that started, for the most part, was it going to gyms, right? Like commercial gyms, private powerlifting, things like that.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
your, I mean, back then, were you selling any to some guy in his house? Like
Yeah,
maybe a
yeah.
few?
A few.
But like, has that changed a lot? Like, did you ever see that going as much, maybe home gyms as it is now?
On that one, probably.
Okay.
On that one, probably. Some of the other items, no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the, say, glued hand raise and stuff like that. That kind of always went there.
Right.
You know, and the reverse hyper would kind of always go there. Certain pieces would kind of always go that direction. Specialty bars would kind of go that direction. But things like lap machines,
Yeah.
you know, that they're a big up click there,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah,
It's usually
this
it's like,
huge machine.
Everyone wants the cable. Everyone wants the selector. That's in the home gym stuff. That is,
which is ridiculous to me. It's like, you can get a plate loaded one, dude. You already have the plates.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of plate loaded shit, even for a lot of the stuff I have out here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, why spend the extra cost for the selector? But I get it. You
It's
know,
nice.
If you're a
It is
lazy
nice.
fuck, it's way
It is.
easier.
It is.
You know,
convenient.
it's way easier for that. Trying to think of some of the other people. There's been some weird ones though, like the standing push press. Like that's like a weird one.
Okay.
That's making its way into home gym.
Yeah, like that,
You know, a thing though, and I pick up a lot more because we do all these home gym tours. You know, you talk about the plate loaded versus the selectorized. It's interesting. There's people, like I said, on the spectrum of how much they lift, how much they collect, but a lot of people now, a big trend is the strength curve of the machine. You know, and this is even home gym guys talking about the strength curve of the machine.
I
So
didn't even understand this concept until like a month ago.
So the plate loaded machine, maybe it's not loaded as much at the bottom half of the rep as you want, but then you get the selectorized one with the certain shaped cam that the cable travels on that makes the bottom end of the rep heavier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a better
sure you
machine.
Put a band on it.
Correct. Yes.
No,
Right.
I get it.
But that is the number, the percentage of people that I see talking about that, where like I've owned a gym for 10 years. The first 9, I never even thought about that. I was just like, oh, it's a leg extension. We needed a leg extension. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even really care if it's plate loaded or select right.
Yeah.
We just,
And then
I need a leg extension that feels decent.
It's the sickness that gets in your head, though. You're like, am I leaving gains out there because the leg extension isn't loaded optimally at the bottom?
Well,
is that what the missing link has been?
Yeah. No, I mean, that plays into the broader spectrum of just training in general.
Right.
To where, I don't have one out here, but if you have a piece of paper there, you can see the margins.
Yeah.
Around the paper.
Yeah.
All that shit and most of the stuff we see online, is all in the margins.
Right.
Where the main text, that's what really matters. But that's not really talked about that much. Because
it's not that fun to talk about.
No, it doesn't get clicks and stuff like that.
Right.
And I would suppose as somebody advances as a strength athlete or gets closer to their genetic potential or limit, the margins may increase a little bit. Only though, because you've mastered what's in the main page.
Right.
But the margins, is somebody that does the marketing.
See, and you get the worst of it because you get caught in, someone that produces equipment. And so you gotta,
the margins sell.
Be receptive to what some of the stuff is. And to our end, when I look at the consumer, I don't want this to come off like this conversation like we're hating or knocking these people. I mean, some people will have that attitude that, screw it, those people just need to shut up and lift. That's not my attitude. Like, yeah, lifting is good, and that's our focus. But where we've benefited is these people nerding out and going so deep on this. What they've made these companies do is step up their production game and their tolerances and the quality of their equipment. And what that does is that makes it better for all of us consumers, because now if one company's stepping up, then all the other companies have to step because they can't be left behind. And I think that's why we are sort of in this golden age of just all products are getting so good now.
Yeah, I mean, the margins matter.
Right.
They sell, so they matter. But from the marketing standpoint, you have to market those because that's what gets the attention. And it's also, my entire podcast is about speaking with people about the margins because it's fun.
Right.
Everybody likes to talk about that.
The average guy on here.
Yeah. I mean, we've not yet said anything about just basic progressive overload.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you assume people kind of know that.
Yeah.
But they don't. So that's kind of where, as an industry, I think where we end up with those commercial gyms and the trainers that don't really care and all the other kind of stuff is we forget the things that really matter. But there's all these caveats, which are so much more fascinating to talk about. I mean, even with the podcast, what matters the most is to just do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to suck.
For sure.
Yes.
And the only way you're going to realize that you got stuck because somebody didn't call in is to get stuck because somebody didn't call in.
Yeah. It's like, your first 50 episodes should probably suck. You know? And if they don't look better, then you were doing something wrong in the beginning.
Yes.
Or you're doing something wrong now if it's still the same quality.
Yes. And there's that. Well, I guess we can get into the apparel. There's the false impression of the sales. Right. Where, you can put a new design out and most people are going to think, man, they're selling thousands of these things. And you're like, all right, we got 20.
Yeah.
We got 3 XL or we have like 10 XLs, 10 larges, 5 3XLs.
I liked it. Because like you said, you never know what's going to hit. It's just always trial and error. Even after all these years, like we have a feeling of what's going to be better, but you don't know. And I'll never forget the first time we had a product like sell out in an hour or two. Totally caught us off guard. And at the time, someone was really mad about it, that this product sold out, which understandably, they wanted it and we had no idea. And their math was, well, you guys at this time, I don't know, had 20,000 followers on Instagram. You have 20,000 Instagram followers. If 3% of them even bought this thing, you would have sold, a few thousand or whatever it is. It's like, dude, if it worked that way, that doesn't work. We have so much money right now. It does not work that way.
Yes.
We've kind of leaned into, we for sure make t-shirts, shorts, the other stuff people are making that we've always made, and that's fun, but it's kind of more like different stuff now that we can lean into a little bit more. We can leverage and utilize, like our fastest selling product of the last year. We brought you one just because you don't want it. Drink safety is a big thing at Massenomics. I can actually see there's a drink spotter hanging off the edge right there. There's some on the equipment over there. And it has been for a while. Like that's a great example of what I'm talking about. That's like the biggest thing that we sell.
The drink
the
spot,
variations
the line
of that are the
products
biggest, is the biggest thing of
whether it's a magnet mounted or pin mounted.
And then like to dovetail this back, when we were doing the gym tour, I was talking to you about horse stall mats. We're real passionate horse stall mats. Trends come and go, but horse stall mats last forever. Like, you can't destroy one of those.
There's a love-hate relationship with everybody has with the stall mats.
And we're mostly love on the stall mats, so I told you I was going to rustle around in sacks a lot on the podcast, but your Element beverages looks like it might hurt your table. So
that's a stall mat.
That's a stall mat coaster. That's a stall mat coaster. The fastest selling product that we've had. And
oh, really?
Yes. They're made out of genuine horse stall mat.
Are you guys getting these?
We are getting these cut on a water jet.
Okay.
We're getting these professionally cut.
Actually, that was the hardest part of the whole thing, is finding someone that would willingly cut those things.
Oh,
It
yeah.
took some time to source the right person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all cut.
Then the other thing is, like, this is our new smallest drink spotter. It's magnetized on the backside of it.
Oh, no shit.
So, yeah. But then,
how much weight will that one hold?
It'll at least hold whatever you'll put in it.
Okay, because I know that one.
Yeah, it's not the same magnet as
that's like
this
the
here.
beefy one.
But this horse stall mats, we've been joking quite a bit about horse stall mats with Massenomics for quite a while. That like stemmed from the podcast and it turned into a thing. And we have other horse stall mat products in the works that'll come out this year that are all.
This will become our new pee break.
Yes, yes,
This is a signal.
yes. Like I got to take a leak, but yeah,
I'm impressed with the cutting because we've all cut stall mats,
and
there's no good way.
No, that was not that. We spent a long time figuring out how, because we wanted this to be cut well.
Yeah.
And, we did, it's kind of a joke.
Well, and also out of a single horse stall mat, you're getting like 200 pieces, and you don't want to be cutting 200 pieces out of a horse stall mat.
Right. So we had to find a way to get, and no one was really willing to do it because cutting rubber, lasers melt it. It wrecks water jet machines. You can't shear it because it bends too much, and it's hard to find someone to do it. But we eventually did, and
Got a lot of no's.
yeah. So this was kind of a joke. We released this on April Fools, and it became like the fastest selling thing that we sell.
That's risky on April Fool's.
Yeah.
People are gonna think,
It is the thing.
How
of,
that
are
works.
we serious this time or not?
How did it work? It sold out faster than anything we've ever
We
sold.
sold every single one of them in like
Yeah.
they didn't think it was an April Fool's.
Well, and we kind of did it like it was ambiguous like that. Like, is this real? Like, are you guys screwing with us? Because everyone has like a fake April Fool's thing, and we're like, no, we're going to do a real kind of fake April Fool's thing. And
Oh man, there's so many possibilities right now.
and we kind of wondered if we were going to end up with, I was going to end up with we talked about shirts, anything else. Was I going to end up with a garage full of 4x4 inch cut pieces of useless rubber? And we did.
No, but this was, I don't want to ask you the cost, but this isn't a bad one to get stuck with, because if you buy, buy 3 shirts,
Horse stall mat costs $50. And that makes a lot of we got to get it printed and cut and stuff like that. There's some cost there. It's more so, it's just almost no one wants to do it just because it's a pain in the ass just to do it.
Yeah, but when your backup with that could be, an incentive to, for orders over 100.
Right. Yeah. We're always just one. If something doesn't sell good, we're always just one meme or one joke away from making it be a thing. So, we got that in our back pocket always.
Yeah.
That's actually a good topic right there, is for people that are trying to sell stuff, is what's the backup plan if it doesn't sell?
Ours is, we kind of make a joke out of everything. Like, so
Like it's not going to sell.
Yeah. So that works in our favor. So we have had a couple historically bad t-shirt designs that we've released, that we released it and we sold maybe 5 or 10% of the inventory in the first week or two, which are the biggest selling times of that item.
Yeah.
It's like,
We're getting now. It's where you're like good in the future.
oh shit. Like, where it's like this, we are going to have these for years. Like, all of our relatives are going to be wearing this for the next decade because we have nothing else to do with it. So in a couple of those instances, we just start only talk. We don't even talk about our stuff that sells well. We only talk about this item that like, won't sell, and just hyping it up. How it's like, it's
just artificially inflating the hype around it, and doing it in a sarcastic way,
like
and
that people know it's a joke,
and ramping up the meme machine around it, and it turns into like, oh, you wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of history and not have this shirt, and it starts to be like a point of pride, like, look what I got. People are starting to rub it in other people's faces that they don't have this item,
right?
And that's worked in our favor a few times.
we can't go to that well. I mean, it's almost got to be historically bad to use that as a thing. It can't be a marginally bad item. It needs to be like, oh shit, this thing's terrible, and like that becomes the joke. No one wants it. It's terrible. You say that enough times, I actually kind of do want it. I want that piece of terrible history.
For the 10th year anniversary of that one, we're bringing back our worst selling shirts of all time.
That's actually that is exactly like a that's a brainstorming session for us.
A drop with our worst selling t-shirts of all time. I kind of like that. There is something there.
Yes, that is a perfect idea. Actually,
that is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what other gyms have you seen that you were impressed with? Well, you went out to Israel's last time you were at.
Right. Yeah. Which is, there again, it's like, that's barely a home gym. That's a commercial gym.
Yeah. Like a jiu-jitsu.
It's easy to say those ones because it is just, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment and space. And so it's easy to say those ones, but.
I guess the other thing I'd say about the home gym thing, and I kind of relate it back to the podcast thing. I always say we used to have guests, and we've kind of stumbled into this working because so say we had 300 guests on the podcast. We don't really do that very much anymore. You're like, did that even provide value? Well, it does, because now we're still connected. We've got 300 connections right there, that because we've talked to them and for an hour and a half on a podcast, we kind of has this connection. We're not cold calling people. We've got a rapport with them that leads to this home gym thing. And then our other most popular thing is the certified training facility thing that we sell and market to, where you get on our map. Well, we didn't really come up with that. Was sort of a joke when it started, that you could be a Massenomics certified training facility. It's like you're an IPF approved facility. It's like, what the hell does that mean? Well, it means you paid them $300 or whatever it is.
People started to deconstruct that. They're like, wait, so the certification is we pay you money? And it's like, well,
that's every
certification is you pay you money. Some make you take a test, but most certifications are you pay the money.
Yeah.
And but people have liked it. It's turned into this sense of community where, I mean, we were just talking, we have certified training facilities in 47
We're looking for someone from New Mexico. We need a if you're listening and you're from New Mexico, please become a certified training facility so we can fill.
Now, does that provide a means for other people that are on your Discord to be able to train there?
Yes. That's one of the there is a questionnaire when you become a certified training facility, and one of them is, are you open to people visiting? And that happens all the time now.
Since we've done it, people have, oh, damn, I didn't realize there's a Massenomics fan. He's got a cool home gym 30 minutes down the road from me. And all of a sudden we're getting messages. Yeah, I met up with so-and-so on Saturday. We did squats together. It's awesome. And it's like, these guys have all this stuff in common. They got like a new best buddy down the road that they didn't even know existed. And it's this website of certified training facilities that made the connection and builds that community.
That's happening like every week right now. It's really, actually, as we speak, really grown into that really recently, and it's happening all the time, which is really cool.
Probably around a decade ago, we used to have something. It was a gym directory.
Yep.
That we had, and it's kind of like what you're talking about, but the questions we had in there, one of them was that, but it's like, do you have certain pieces of equipment, like a monolift,
right?
Dumbbells up to 100, enough so lifters who were traveling that would have to get a squat session in knew that this place had, what they wanted, for that. And I don't know why we ever got rid of it. I think somebody else built it for us, so it wasn't on our site. It was on somebody else's site, but it was a nice asset because people could see.
They see that,
where they could.
And that's another thing we've started doing is, when they sign up, we tell them submit photos and we'll add it to your listing. So when someone clicks on the pin, they can see a photo of your gym
or a video.
And then also, if we've done a certified training facility or you have a video, let us know. We'll also link that out so people can see your gym. And that's another way that people have seen, what's inside these gyms, what's going on. And people are, they're open to sharing as much or as little as they want.
Yeah. Some people say, no, I don't want any weirdos at my house. And we, we put that on there. Like, it's a certified training facility, but no, they don't. They're not open to you.
And this is also, the map is by zip code. It's not, giving people's people's exact home address.
Yeah,
It's just like, right.
People can't just show up. They got a zip code. That's as close as it gets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of my favorite things that we got going right now, though, honestly. And then by accident, we learned like we're doing home gym tours. It works so well for us. We draw a circle around Ohio. We got 20 choices. We're going to be here this day, this day, this day. Who can we hit?
Yeah, I mean, we could have spent a week here. We've been here. This is our third day now, and we've done 9 tours. We could have easily spent 4 more days here and gotten 15 more tours. But at a certain point, you're fried. From having it on. So like it feels like there's an unlimited pool that we can tap into and keep this content going as long as people are still interested.
We're doing I don't know, every 2 to 3 months we're doing a trip somewhere. We used to not travel for Massenomics. We've been like
this year so far. Yeah, we've been to California, Ohio, North Carolina, back to Ohio, and later this year, I mean, we'll have another one spooled up to.
Which state has the most?
Southern California is a good spot. Ohio's
very high on the list. Yeah.
Because of our bias, we have a lot of South Dakota people, an abnormally large amount in the Dakotas and Minnesota, because so many people are close to us, and it's just kind of spider web from us, like on a local level. Ohio's a really good one. I mean, that doesn't come to a surprise to many people, I don't think.
Florida, Texas have a decent amount too. It's kind of where you find, home gyms.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're everywhere.
And populations,
right.
Home gyms are everywhere.
Yeah.
So we just look at the map and like, there we go. We just started. That's the weirdest thing. You talk about, we become interviewers. I didn't think I was going to become an interviewer when we started doing Massenomics. The other thing I didn't think I was going to become is a frickin' travel coordinator, where I'm like, I mean, we have this we don't just show up and be like, hey, does about this time work? We're on this trip going to 9 places. We have 3 days to do it. Like the first day we're up at 3.
Got on the airplane at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., so which means we get up at 4 a.m. We're in Indianapolis. This trip was start the day 2 spots in Indianapolis, drive to Dayton, drive to Toledo. The next day, wake up, go from Toledo to Cleveland.
2 spots in Cleveland.
Go from Cleveland to Columbus. And then, last night we got a little closer to here, and now we're back to. So we've kind of done almost a loop around, a good chunk of Ohio.
Yeah. Coordinating 12 different people's schedules is a weird job, or job. It's
weird though too, because most of these people have jobs,
right,
and lives, and families.
Yeah. So these are not like a commercial gym you can just pop in.
No.
It's not just open hours and you show. And like, to everyone's credit, we've worked with, everyone's been amazing, like accommodating. We say like this time, and everyone's been ready for us. And half the people are like, "Oh, I got food ready."
They roll out the red carpet.
They're being awesome guests and super accommodating. And so we're really grateful that we have these connections with all these incredible people that want to make this happen. And
that's an interesting job though, is like event coordinator. I'm like, I don't do that stuff in my, that's not something I've ever done before.
Well, there's flights, there's
it's
transportation.
Yeah, it's not just, the booking the flight is actually the easy part. It's everything that needs to happen between, when you touch down and when you leave again. That's when things get dicey. Yeah.
How'd the last meet go?
Record setting for us. I get like, it just keeps getting better and better. So that was July 2024. It's the Lift Hard Levy Classic. I think, had we done one by the time we were here?
We just had one a few months previous.
So we did our last one. We had 115 competitors for that one, and
had added strongman to this.
Added strongman to it all one day, and it's really like, it's a competition. I can't remember what we talked about last time, but it's like a 3-day event where we have
like a
activities.
fest.
Like a weird little.
It's like the Arnold Classic.
Right. It's the South Dakota.
Classic.
Yeah, it's the Massenomics version of that. And this year, I think we've got maybe 10 more. It's like 120 some people. We still have to cap it because we try to get all the competing done in one day, because we all have a lot of like hanging out, shooting the shit.
Yeah, I mean, Tanner hosts
and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Well, the night before the meet, Tanner hosts the pre-meet party in his backyard.
In my backyard.
And
so
everyone brings a plus one. Tanner had like 200 people in his backyard last year. And it's a hangout. Some people.
What about the bathroom?
We got porta potties this last year. It's actually turning into, we need to cater food, get porta potties. Like it's, you can't have 250 people go through your bathroom in your house.
I get that. No, I was just wondering if you did that.
No, that's a legit
life.
Right. That's a legit thing we had to start worrying about, where it's like, oh no, this isn't 30 of our friends. This is hundreds of people. And this last year, I think it was people from like 25 different states and 3 countries that came, which it is not easy to get to Aberdeen, South Dakota. Like it is
There's not direct flights.
There,
it's far from it.
We have an airport, but doesn't
it double the population when they're there?
Just about. Yeah.
It's getting to the point where people in town are starting to know this is a thing. We put a billboard up and we hype it up around town. And even for example, like Thursday night, people start rolling in on Thursday, and we had this one bar that's our spot. What started as, the first year there was, I don't know, maybe 15 of us. We thought it was just a little get together. Well, now this last year, we just took over it was the entire bar restaurant.
Maybe 80 people in the bar that were all,
and we just always think these are going to be just small things, and it just keeps growing and pooling. But it's, we're good friends with a lot of these people. This has turned into, with our Discord and our content, like they've made great friendships, and it's kind of like the class reunion. Everyone's getting back together, and I haven't seen you since last year. I haven't seen you since the Arnold, and people just hang out and have a great time for 3 days.
What I notice more, or it's the way I feel, is like we become less and less important to the success of it, where it's like these people are all just like want to hang out with each other. Like we almost don't need to be there. Like we just provide the framework, the spot,
and they take advantage of it.
Take it. There's some
it's like kick down in the basement watching that. Everybody's outside.
Like, they don't give a shit about us. It's just they want to all be with each other, kind of. And it's people that otherwise would have no idea who they are, who each other are. So it's from all over the country.
I mean, and we're talking. Yeah. It's mostly dudes. Let's be real here, but we're talking people from Southern California to the far eastern coast of Canada, and every age group in between. So it's not like there's just a person. It's a wide range of people on different age, social. I mean, it's all over the board, and it's this thing that brings everyone together.
From the actual meet perspective, we've got a meet director for the powerlifting meet that he does an awesome job. Big Dave, he runs that. He does well. Now this year, Jake is taking over the strongman part of it. So we're kind of able to like remove ourselves from some of that stuff that we can kind of do that stuff. Let's get people that are really good at it to do that stuff, and we'll facilitate the extracurricular, the more fun stuff. And it's what I would say, run an event like that is super stressful. Like it doesn't happen on accident, and it doesn't go well on accident. But
especially when you decide to compete too. Last year we decided to compete.
Yeah, we both competed last year as if we needed more to worry about. But it's so damn fun.
It's the closest thing. Like you show up to a meet, it feels like it's just a Saturday squat session. When you get everyone in and everyone's cheering each other on, you're having that good day. It's like that's what the entire meet feels like. There was no one in my flight that I didn't know and haven't known for years. So it's like everyone, you're just hyping up the boys to get them out there and hit some PRs. It's really tough to beat that.
So like a training day.
It feels like that. Yeah, that training day that happens to have 100 and some people watching you.
And it's a sanctioned meet, and it's still the results are on open powerlifting and everything, but. We, as people that lift and compete ourselves, it's so hard not to want to get in on that, because even though we're facilitating it, there's still a different feeling at the end of the day if you are in on the action.
Versus being in versus on the outside, seeing how much fun everyone's having.
Yeah.
Especially afterwards when they're all talking.
Oh yeah, you got stories for the days, and you're like, that did look cool, man. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because that's the other one. We also then, because the parties are all part of it, is when the meet is done, the kind of the local party bar in town, we book that out, and so we have 150 people all showing up to the bar, and that's when
some still wearing their singlets. There's a variety of.
That's when the stories start going, and everyone's stays out too late, and that's what really makes it for everyone, having that bonding experience at the end.
Now the strongman's going on at the same time as the powerlifting.
It'll go on right after. Actually, we cycle it through, and powerlifting starts early in the morning, and strongman is the after.
Yeah, people that do both.
Last year, we did.
Some crazy bastards that do both, which
I don't know how.
Yeah. We try to limit that just because we want as many different people involved as possible. Like we don't want to you're taking someone else, because it's capped. There again, this year it sold out in like the first day. We opened up a powerlifting meet in South Dakota, and
for an event in July, the registration opens in November, and it sells out in a day.
And we didn't even open it to the public. It was just open to like the Massenomics, our supporting members. It's only open to them, and it's sold out in a day. But this year we might have one or two that get in on both, just because it's a spectacle to see someone do that too. It kind of adds to it a little bit.
Well, it's a story.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of what it's all about. I think it's a story. We've had some interesting people that come to, like last year, there's World's Strongest Man competitor there. This year, I think Huck Finn is going to come to participate, and it's fun. We look forward to it big time.
Yeah, he's a good. He'll add value.
Oh yeah,
it's cater made for a guy like that, honestly.
Well, what I would want to actually see is what really is the stamina here.
We've witnessed it firsthand pretty close many times.
I know it's going to end up with him in a garbage can or in a trash can or a dumpster somewhere.
That really happens.
You see people dropping out at various times throughout the night.
Yeah.
Some people are a little earlier, some people are a little later, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had down here on your list of topics collaborating with influencers.
Yeah.
So this can become very interesting.
Yes. Yes. Because we have done more YouTube lately, between the podcast and then doing more YouTube and stuff like that. And it's been an interesting journey, just because we haven't done as much of the YouTube until recently. We've had a lot of people on the podcast, but doing the YouTube stuff has been different. Like you've had Juji Mufu on here at least once before, if not a couple. And we've been to his place a few times now to shoot YouTube videos and do that sort of thing. And it's a lot of fun, right?
It is. It's so much fun. My takeaway from that is, with unlimited money, I just want a huge gym where you invite everyone over and you just lift and hang out all day. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like this last time we were there, one of the surprise things, Juji wheeled out like 12 power poles.
Yes.
And we all put power poles on, and we were doing like strength events with power poles on.
races.
Oh yeah. No, it's Bugenhagen's.
Yes.
And he was there, and it's horse cocking.
Oh, yeah.
It's a mindset. Like, and he's right.
Yeah.
Like, we walked away from that. It's like we both went back to training. We brought it up on the podcast. Like, he's on to something with this horse cocking. When you go in really with the mentality that no, I'm rocking these weights, I'm the boss around here, and I'm going hard more. It takes a different approach to your training, and that's the thing where, as much as I love a home gym, is you get stuck in your own mentality, your own groove. And that's what being in that environment is you see, there's different levels of intensity. And, some people like to keep the stimulus a little lower. Some people like to go a little more crazy. But seeing these guys that know how to turn it up, you're like, okay, I can dial up that intensity a little bit more in my own training. And just being exposed to that is really cool.
Well, I think what we get in a rut of is we take pride in, we don't need to dial it up that much. Like, we just need to go through the training. It sets, it's reps, you do it.
It's a grind. Survive that grind.
But we get to do these fun collaborations, but then there's real takeaways from it. Like, maybe we need that. Like, why don't we go a little crazier sometimes?
Watching Boogs do his reverse band, 800-pound Smith machine deadlift.
Maybe it's not always by the book. Like, there's something to be learned from that. There's Wild Ends. He trains
on
like
the fringe out there.
Yeah.
But there's something to learn from training with people like that though too.
Well, there's a balance in there, and it's fun.
Yes,
it is.
Right, because you can get into all the science-based,
right?
Whatever you want to even call that.
Right.
I think that's the bad term for it too.
But that's what people call it. That's the term.
I mean, you can get into that, but then that's just going to be boring as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. So you fall into that trap to where again, all this is on the margins.
Yeah.
So we all know inherently that we need to train hard, and to really horse cock.
Yeah.
Train harder. It's fun as hell.
Yeah.
So you got to mitigate, how to do that, and I'm sure he does.
Right.
That he's got his crazy horse cocking, that he's got the other stuff he's probably not filming.
Right.
Yeah,
he's
not maxing out deadlift every single day.
Well, he might be though.
Some variation.
Yeah. But even with that, because I trained with him last time he came out, and it was basically horse cocking everything.
Yeah.
For arm day or whatever it was.
Little heft hoist and heat.
Yeah. And it's, I kind of had that same experience where I'll do that kind of shit on the weekends when I train.
Right.
But during the week, it's more of the other stuff, just time efficiency and all this. I'm like, maybe I ought to do more of that horse cocking shit. And
Yeah.
then on my other side, well, that means I need more warm up sets, and then this is going to take fucking twice as long as what I normally would do. How much different is the stimulus really? And that processing, I think, is where people are missing. You know what I'm saying? Because you can justify either end, but you can also choose either end. But I don't think people know how to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They think that it's got to be all this or it's got to be all this.
Yeah.
And then they get
And
stuck.
we talk about like just being aware that extra gear does exist. I always tell the story, first going to Massenomics gym, I was probably at that time, I probably weighed 190 pounds. And I was chasing a 300-pound bench at the time, like trying to build that up. And you go, and I'm getting all psyched up for it. And then you go in and see, like, at the time, Tanner, your bench was like 450 or more. And so you get these guys that are repping in the high 300s and the low 400s. And you see them do that for a set. And then you're like, oh, yeah, maybe 255 isn't that much. Like, it puts you into perspective and it gives you that confidence. So like, oh, yes, that is very doable. I'm witnessing it on a daily basis. And then like I got to that number so fast. And then you start passing it. And being exposed to that is a big part of making it happen.
Now, when I'll do the what I call the train your ass off events, a big part of that is anchoring. So if it's a maximum attempt, and I would call that intensity as a percentage of a 1 rep max, I want to anchor what a max effort attempt is. I want to anchor for them what they think a real strain is. And then I also want to anchor what I would call effort. Say that's your accessory work. And typically, no matter what somebody's, especially if it's a machine-based thing, maybe they stop at 10. They could probably do 25.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're in your face and you're pushing them.
Right.
And then when you have the conversation later and say, those accessories should probably be trained at like an RPE, like 7 or 8, then they realize, oh, shit, I was like 4.
Right.
Because now that it's anchored. But I think along that same terminology is, you can have it anchored and you can know it, but then you can also begin to slowly forget it.
Yes.
And
you drift. You drift from it. Yeah.
You fall into those training
to a more
ruts.
comfortable spot.
Yeah. And you think you're doing it because you're still 2 reps shy of failure or whatever it is, until you train with somebody else. Then you realize, oh shit.
Yeah.
I can use 4 more selector eyes. Go back here. Go back there. I can use 4 more plates on this thing, but I've always just been using this one because I'm trying to get 1 more rep each day. But actually, I could use 4 more.
And from a powerlifting standpoint, it's easier as a powerlifter, you're trying to chase bigger squat, bench, deadlift numbers. It's easier to push those ones. And it's also really easy then for accessories to kind of phone it in.
Yes.
And that was another one of my takeaways is like, you know what? I'm not actually at like an RP7 on these accessories. I'm like wrapping up my stuff and then I'm kind of speeding through the rest. And it's like, no. If you really crush your accessories the way you're doing your regular lifts, like you can leave the gym feeling pretty smashed,
Not only that, but it's here's where I don't think people catch is, say for whatever side raises.
Yeah.
You might have 3 or 4 sets of 10, but you're just kind of like, whatever. You only really need 1 or 2 that are really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can grab the 5s, do like 5 reps. This is too light.
Yeah.
You grab, these aren't even full sets. You're just going to figure out what weight you need.
Yep.
Okay, 25s are going to be good. Hit it really hard and you're fucking done.
Right.
So you're actually done in less time.
Yes.
And went harder.
And went way harder than the 4 sets that you would have done.
The 4 sets of 10 of the same weight that you did the last,
with the 3 warm-up sets or whatever you had in there, which is a large allocated amount of time. This is where I do like the machines though for this kind of crap, is because it can take you 2 minutes to figure out what weight you need.
Yeah.
Like
quickly.
1, 2, that was really light. Oh shit, that kind of.
I got to walk over here and grab another 25. Like that gives you an excuse to not put the weight on.
Yeah. And then you get to that working set faster and it's over.
Yeah.
It's done. And that could, I doubt it, but that could kind of be one of the reasons why people are moving into some of the home gym stuff, is because it is way faster.
Well, and that's what I quickly figured out with my home gym was, if it's something that requires setup, I'm just not going to do it. Like I'm there to lift, not to like mess around and move this to here and then pull the, like the second it takes that, I'm not doing that exercise anymore.
45-minute conjugate setup.
We do think that's a pitfall of home gyms though. Everyone can train however the hell they want to. Some people don't actually want to get stronger, and that's fine. But for those that want to get stronger, you do have to watch out for training in a home gym, because you don't get to see the dude bench 500 pounds that you're like, oh fuck, that's just a regular dude too, and he's benching 500 pounds like that. Like I have to.
My 3-plate goal is attainable.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You can get there.
You just don't see if you're only in your own world. I mean, you see stuff on Instagram and that sort of thing. It's just different in person though too. You literally see what the person's doing, and you're just like, that's possible. Why I'm being a bitch? You know, you don't get put in check that same way.
My prediction that I throw out there is the smaller gyms are going to become more and more popular over time because we live in a digital world now.
Yep.
And it's just going to become way more digital. I mean, nobody can doubt that. I mean, just the advancements that we're seeing. There's going to be a tipping point. And there's going to be a tipping point where people are going to be like, I need to be around people.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're never around people.
Right.
And then that like kind of defaults to gyms, bars, restaurants.
Right. Right.
You know, that's going to fall into there. And it's going to be more just for socialization than anything else. And that will be the next boom.
Right.
Right. But before that, there's going to be more digits. You know, there's going to be
It's going to work farther.
more digitized for sure.
That was one of your worries though of going to a home gym though too. You're like, I work from home.
Dude, that wasn't for taking my kids to daycare a few times a week. I mean, I'm almost full hermit mode.
Well, I think we're kind of seeing it just in the powerlifting sphere.
Yeah.
We're kind of seeing it now to where people will travel for their squat day. Like they'll still do all their home stuff.
We have a few guys that are, buddies within the area. And
you guys get together for heavy days.
Yeah.
And that's what
at each other's home gyms.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh, and actually you have the really sweet setup for benching. I have, it's like, we're going to go to your place for bench day and my place on squat day.
That's a great idea. Right there, because that will do what you're talking about. It's going to change their perception of what strong is.
Yeah. And you guys actually do have a crew of you in Sioux Falls.
And now when we're getting closer to the meet, when you start having some of these heavier days, we'll start planning it. Yep. Like the big squat day's coming up next week. Like let's have that day be the day we meet up. And it's fun, man. Like you get so used to the monotony of at home that all of a sudden you're in a different setting with some guys cheering you on, having the good time, and like the weights start flying.
Well, just having a spotter helps though.
That is another big one. Yes.
Right. Because there'll be those bench days by yourself and you're like, I don't know, where if somebody was there, I'll find out.
Yeah.
And kind of go that route.
It's easier to find excuses when you're by yourself too.
Oh yeah.
Like talk yourself into excuses really easy.
Most definitely. There is a meme for you right there.
Yeah.
The list of acceptable excuses.
Yeah.
That I wrote an article years ago where I had like 100 reasons why, lifters miss lifts.
Yeah.
And every one of them were valid because I heard every one.
Oh, absolutely. It's a limited list.
And not one of them is ever because I wasn't strong enough.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
What else do I have down here? Running the strength events, any topics that you guys had I didn't bring up?
We got a couple.
We got a couple things. We got a couple questions for you. I think we did this last time we're on, but we do overrated, underrated a lot on the Massenomics podcast, and we always want to get your take on a few things. And so some of these are pretty much catered to you, and some of these are a little more things we've been talking about lately, and we want to get your take on it. We talked about the chicken bake, and we're big on talking like lifting foods or just like, we talk about Fairlife, we talk about chicken bakes and stuff like that. The thing that's been on our mind lately that we're like, this is the food. People talk about superfoods. Yeah. None of those are superfoods. Our superfood, we've been talking about it for months now, is cottage cheese. Are you underrated? People kind of love it or hate it. Yeah. There's starting strength is Go Mad. We threw that out the window. It's not a gallon of milk a day. We do like 2 tubs of cottage cheese a day, whatever.
We're workshopping that one.
Yeah, we're figuring that one out.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they can tolerate the dairy, then it's 100% underrated because of the protein source.
Oh, it's so high too.
It's close to 2, if I remember correctly, 2 cups of that, you're getting close to 50 grams of protein.
Yeah, I think a half a cup is 12 grams of protein. So 2 cups would be 50 grams of protein.
That's always a weird one because it's like Greek yogurt, that's great, but it's
Greek yogurt doesn't pencil out quite as good as cottage cheese though too. Cottage cheese is
your price to protein ratio is pretty damn tough to beat. There's not many things that compete at that level.
No, not at all. I used to eat a ton of that shit.
Yeah.
A little pineapple in there sometimes.
Okay, that's the kind of the controversy.
talked about, we were saying you don't mess with
like
perfection. You don't mess with perfection. Like, just let it be what it is. Like, start throwing in, even have salt and pepper, not even needed. Just you find that good brand that has the curd the way you like it.
I ate it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, we're talking like a tub a day.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm putting Kool-Aid packs in there.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing whatever I can because I mean, it's kind of like the chicken bake challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
After a while, it's like I really
got to do something.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like, well, how would grape taste? None of the.
So you're okay with the fruit flavors in your cottage cheese then?
If needed.
Yeah.
Because after a while, it's just cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I do protein right here for cottage cheese.
Yeah.
For low fat, cottage cheese is 54 grams of protein. Full fat cottage cheese, 48 grams of protein, and non-fat cottage cheese, 56 grams of protein.
That's maybe a whole tub there.
There's very
protein higher with a lower fat.
Very little.
And the fat, it's like, so yeah, like a single serving, I think it's 12 grams of protein, 4 grams of fat, and is it like 3 grams of carbs or something? It's really good macros.
No, it's good macros. It's way underrated. It needs to come back with vengeance.
We've been bringing it back. We're about a month away from just coming up with a cottage cheese T-shirt. So
it's just as you said. I mean, you look at the price of that, and then the price of like Greek yogurt. Really? You're gonna pay fucking $5 for this, and you get this for like $1.
Yeah.
A little word of warning though. Cottage cheese is an extremely high level of variability between brands. So you got to find the right brand of cottage
that fits
cheese.
Your flavor profile.
Some can be almost unedible.
The watery shit.
Once you become a connoisseur, the texture.
The biggest thing, it's the texture. Some are too watery that you do not want it that watery. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We already kind of talked about horse stall mats. They're underrated. I mean, so you can't.
They are, but they're a pain in the ass.
That's true. That is the duality of a horse stall mat.
It's a pain in the ass.
Horse stall mat weighs about 100 pounds.
Yeah. So if you have to move one, how do you do it?
Oh, this has been hotly debated too.
I'll tell you how I do it, but I'll wait till after.
Well, okay, so it also depends on your setting, because we had some people making comments of you roll it up, you ratchet it in with a ratchet, and we're like, that's more work than just moving the damn thing. So in my setting, I'm in a garage. I just back the truck up, you pull it out, and it's mostly in its final resting place. It's not much of an ordeal, but Massenomics gym's in a basement, which means flights of stairs around corners. It can be a little different there.
The secret's horse cocking, honestly, when it comes to horse stall mats. It's right in the name. I think you horse cock a horse stall mat. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I would just say it'd be interesting to see if within a strongman competition, if someone involved more horse stall mats at some point in time, and we really find out how people start to move them in the most efficient way.
They doubled it up, man. Yeah. That would be a good event right there.
That's what we've talked about. If you got X number of horse stall mats to move from A to Z, and you do it any way you want to, move as many as you want to at a time, however you want to do it.
Yeah, what is the most? Man, I would glue 2 together.
I think there's a lot of possibilities there.
Depending on the surface that it's.
I would just tell everyone to stay tuned, because we've got things planned as far as that goes. So.
Now the way I'll do it is I'll grab it on each end, knee it in the middle, and then fold it. And then just drag it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way. Rolling stuff.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
That's a lot of extra stuff.
I've tried carpet pullers and all kinds of other stuff to get a better grip.
We talked about trends in home gym stuff. A big thing has been Smith machines lately. All of a sudden, everyone wants a Smith machine or a Smith machine attachment in their home gym, which caught us off guard almost. It's funny, Smith machines, people probably liked them. Then people they're the running joke. Oh, use a Smith machine. Now people like, some people change, but now people like them again. So overrated, underrated Smith machines. What's your take?
Overrated.
Yeah.
We've had the Smith machine attachment for like 4 years, right? So when I first started seeing people I'm like, dude, we've had this for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I use it, but the things I would use it for are more like incline presses.
Yes.
JM presses, because it kind of makes you do it the right way.
Yep.
What was the one movie? One of the strongmen I had out here had me do These are brutal, like one-legged RDLs.
Okay.
And I mean, you don't need a lot of weight. It's like a 5 per side.
Right.
It just wrecks your hand. So certain things like that would have the applications. Obviously, I mean, if it's a home gym, it's going to be a rack attachment is going to be a way better idea than a whole machine.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one too, right? Because like I would say old school Smith machines, when I was coming up in the sport, and man, we'll go back to early 90s, none of them were counterbalanced. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? And then it started to get this weird, counterbalance and then optimal angle and all. Then it got weird. It almost got like a reverse band.
Right. Right.
Like the tension profile, like you're talking about, got all fucked up.
Yeah.
Now with the ones that are coming out that are more rack attached, some of them have counterbalances, some of them don't. The ones without the counterbalances, those are underrated for sure, right? But if it's got the slider on there, you got to take into account that slider might weigh 15 pounds for each side. So now you got an 80-pound bar,
right,
or whatever it's going to be. And maybe you need reverse band a little bit, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, so it's it's still a fucking over for the reasons why it's being promoted. It's 100% overrated. Oh, yeah. And I sell them, but and I may be talking differently if we actually sold, a bunch of them, but no.
Okay. And then the other thing we wanted to hit you with, we'll put you on the spot here. You answer it however you want to. We're from South Dakota. One of the claims to fame there is Mount Rushmore. So we often play the Mount Rushmore game where we get your top 4 of something. It's who goes on your Mount Rushmore of whatever it is. And our thought was Westside versus the World plays on repeat at Massenomics Gym. It's on a TV. It's just always on there. It's kind of one of the things we keep the same all the time. And we're curious what your Mount Rushmore of Westside lifters over the years is. And it doesn't have to be the strongest lifters. Be whoever you want to put on Mount Rushmore, and for whatever reason.
Probably be easier if I keep it to the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
because if I keep it to the movie, then I'm going to say that people would know.
Right. Right.
So that's obviously Louis, Chuck, Dave Hoff, Matt Dimmel. That kind of covers it. And that probably wouldn't change a whole lot, even if I went outside.
Okay.
Of that realm.
Right.
And Louis, obviously, for
he's George Washington.
Well, yeah, just the technical side. Chuck for the intensity side. Dimmel for just being crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
And then Hoff for I would give it longevity, but I would also give it for managing the training variables effectively, right? Because there's a lot of things within conjugate can fuck somebody way up, right? Either joint wise,
right,
walking example, or just strength wise,
right? Because
there's way too much variation. They never get strong in anything. It's just that's where the joke conjugate the shit out. That's kind of where it comes from.
Right.
To find that balance of all that to create that longevity, is there. I mean, he's still competing now.
Right. He honed in on it and then maximized conjugate to, best total ever, obviously. Mm-hmm. So
I think he had enough time without Louis oversight to be able to play around with things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And would receive feedback from people like Donnie, and some other people that have kind of been where he wanted to go, where he was. And things change, now we're talking in the margins.
Right.
He
is in the margins, though. If you're the best ever, the margins becoming
it becomes bigger. It becomes bigger. And that's where it becomes extremely important to, be able to figure those things out, to have other people that have been in those margins. And where it gets fucked up is when people will take that as the example to make it their base.
Right. We don't get to base our training off of Dave Hoff because we're not Dave Hoff.
Yeah.
We're
the best in the world.
Right. We're 30 levels below that. So what Dave Hoff's doing might not matter as much for us.
It probably doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good point.
But if you look at the path that he followed, right, and this is the same with any lifter you're ever going to speak to, it's all the same. no matter how they train. At some point, they learn how to auto-regulate their training. At some point, they realize, you know what, maybe recovery matters. Because you can get away with the shit when you're 20. These are all basic things.
Right.
But they realize it before it destroys them. And that's the trick, is a lot of people won't realize that until the injury's so bad, they have to look into these things.
Yeah.
And then they're on borrowed time. When you can realize that right before that happens, then you're Dave Hoff, Donnie Thompson, and
Right.
all these other people.
Right. I think it'd be hard. Even anyone could put it on their Mount Rushmore who they want to, but that'd be a hard,
It's
hard one.
You heard
Yeah.
it right here.
Yeah, it'd
Dave's
be a hard one to argue.
Now, I knew Matt personally, right? And I knew him before, for a long time before, and he was just a character in that movie. So if I had to replace him, I would have put Laura on there.
Okay. Yeah.
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 You know, so I was debating that as I was going through
Yeah.
that question, but just put Matt up there because, you know, one of the first guys to squat 1,000 pounds. I mean, the guy was out of his fucking mind, you know,
Yeah.
and still one of those guys that if you trained with him, you're sitting there like, I'm weak,
Right.
like really weak.
Right.
Like Chuck, he was way stronger, but it's like, there's something different. You know,
Right.
I couldn't use that as like a comparison, you know, where the other ones were like, I suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Laura's another one that you say that'd be hard to make a case against. So I guess this Mount Rushmore might need 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
They talk about like the alien being off the side of Mount Rushmore.
Well, when I first started to answer the question, I forgot Matt was in there.
Yeah.
And I was going to say Laura, but then I realized he was a character
Right.
that was in there. So I had to throw him in.
Okay. I think
I like that.
Dave passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave passed. You're an honorary South Dakotan now.
Yeah.
Do it Mount.
So with the overrated, underrated,
Yeah.
what would be questions that you wished people would ask you that's overrated or underrated?
Maybe it's challenging because sometimes you need to be deep in the Massenomics world to get something. God, that's a good question. I mean, something. Actually, the questions we asked you would be somewhat similar ones. You know, we'd want people to ask us cottage cheese just so we can go on and
You can riff on that.
Well, what other protein source are people missing out on?
Cottage cheese is the number one. If you're not doing cottage cheese, that is, I mean, my tried and true is eggs. Like there's no, but I don't, that's no secret. Cottage cheese is the secret.
We were talking the other day, there's so many easy, obvious protein sources now of things that you can like almost do with very little effort.
Yes.
Like cottage cheese is so easy. You can bulk buy protein bars relatively affordably. That's easy. A scoop of protein, that's easy. Greek yogurts, that's easy. And those are all kind of like snacks. None of them are really even food. And if you look at that, you haven't even really ate food for the day and you're at damn near like 80, 90 grams of protein. Just
Well, you
right
got
there.
beef sticks. You can get
like beef
anywhere. You can get hard-boiled eggs almost anywhere.
Yes, yes. And like all the examples I used right there are like pretty high in protein and like low in everything else. So like those are pretty clean ones. But yeah, if you just want to start throwing eggs in and things like that, I mean, it's pretty damn easy to get to 200 grams of protein nowadays.
Yes.
You know, like it's just, and you can do it palatably. Like you don't have to like suffer through all this garbage food. And yeah, it's relatively affordable too.
There were...
Actually, I'd say don't listen to us about nutrition.
But yeah, but ultimately don't take our advice on performance.
Don't listen to us on that.
I mean, just all this thing is, when I was in high school, there was protein drinks, and this shit didn't even mix. And it just I'd put it in orange juice, and it was just like sucking down chalk. It was gross. You know, so I kind of grew up where it has to taste like shit to be effective.
To be the real deal.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Mike, they got
Genius shot.
They got
You've
these
had
Genius
it.
shots now.
Yeah.
It's like that has 23 grams of protein in it, and it's not like a chalky.
too bad.
No effort.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing ever. And like, granted, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
But if you want to spend the money on that, it's really, really easy to get some protein in your day that way.
What's from the overrated, underrated? What's one of them that people have the hardest time answering?
Well, where people get sometimes hung up is they start thinking, they start doing like this meta-analysis of the game. Like, okay, is it overrated or underrated to me versus what's the public perception?
Just like you on Smith Machine, if you really start to think about it, you're like, I might not like the Smith Machine that much, but what do people think about the Smith Machine?
Yeah.
You know, that's
where it can get kind of hard on some of them. And then when you start doing maybe things that really are rated quite highly because they are the best of all time, you know, is that they're the best of all time. So by default they kind of are rated the highest, but are they still not rated high enough? That's the the game you start playing.
Like if you ask someone on a lifter, if you chose Dave Hoff, is he overrated or underrated? It's a hard question to answer because he's got the biggest total of all time. So everyone knows he's the best at it.
Yeah, but I think when
so then if you really think about it hard, that's when do you take greatness and you try to say, is it overrated or underrated? Something that's truly great. Then I think those are the hardest ones.
Well, I think with the question in itself, the person answering the question should probably understand you're asking their opinion.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's the game some people play. They'll be going back and forth weighing their opinion versus public opinion, and they're talking it out, and then eventually they get so frustrated they're like, screw it, I don't like it, it's overrated.
We always say people are allowed to answer how they want to answer.
Yeah, there's no right or it's your way of doing it.
The thing that I think people get wrong sometimes, just in my opinion on the game, my take on the game, if we ask them, I don't know, say someone doesn't like cottage cheese, or they just don't like something, they think it sucks, overrated or underrated. They say overrated just because they think it sucks. I'm like, we didn't say, is it good or bad? There's a nuance to the game of, is it overrated or underrated? I think it sucks, but if I'm really honest, everyone thinks Nickelback everyone thinks Nickelback sucks.
Underrated.
I think they're underrated for that reason, because I'm like,
Creed and Nickelback are underrated.
And they're going through this resurgence again.
Yeah. Put it this way, there's very few people that if any of those songs come on, don't know the words.
And that's, so it's popular to say they suck. So many people say they suck. That's what makes them underrated, I think. Even whether I think that they're the best band ever or not, that's not the case. I think they're underrated because so many people think they're bad. I'm like, well, they're not that bad. They're not as bad as they were
selling out stadiums for 10 years and had
because
20 number one songs.
Yeah.
So they're accidental.
That's where Nickelback's a prime example to me on how you'd play the game. I'm like, they are underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just objectively, that's a
right.
fact.
So in the powerlifting community, you're probably more connected than I am, even though I have all these people on the podcast. Have you seen, if we go back years, the strife between like geared, raw with wraps and all that? Have you seen that? Because to me, it seems like that is kind of faded away.
Yeah.
To where I don't want to say they all support each other.
Kind of do.
But it seems that way to me.
Yep. I think it's definitely shifted that.
I think so, because it's the thing of now, for the most part, if you're, I think, have any level of intelligence and you're around long enough, you just recognize that strong is strong. And you can give credit, maybe it's not your preferred training method or style of competition, but any level-headed, rational person is like, dude, I got to give you credit. That's just, at the end of the day, that's just strong. You're doing something different than me. I couldn't do it. That's great. And respect to you. And for the most part, the people we interact with seem to have that mentality.
Right. Because we're not talking to dumbasses very often. So people that get it, no, I might not lift equipped, or I might not lift raw, or I might not lift in wraps, or I don't do strongman, but deadlifted 1,000 pounds, squatted 1,000 pounds. That doesn't happen on accident. So I think it has improved in that sense, that there's not this much infighting with stuff like that.
And I would even say that one has gone, in my opinion, more by the wayside. What was more of the debate was the drug tested versus the non-drug tested.
Yeah.
And even there, it feels like there's been a little bit more of a shift towards we get it. Strong is strong. There's always going to be this IPF elitism with, the most diehard audience there.
Right.
But for the most part, it feels like people just recognize strong now.
And also the fact that do what you want to do. You don't have to do what I do. Do what you want to do. And why does that affect me?
Yeah. I even think the IPF elitism is kind of decreased significantly because now every federation has self-imploded.
Oh, they have too. Right. That's, I think, what was a major blow to that was when the USAPL thing split from the IPF. And that was the IPF's doing. And you're seeing more and more things all the time of, shady dealing.
Because I think in some degree, there was tribalism within federations, but when every one of the federations over the years
they all
have imploded, then there's no more tribalism.
Right.
Where they're more like, I'm just going to lift wherever
Yep.
I can lift.
Yep.
And I think what else has played a huge part in that is open powerlifting, where it used to be, federations would have like these leaderboards and these records in the federation. Now it's kind of like, nah, you just pull up open powerlifting and just see the absolute records of all time. And I don't think people care as much about your like regional federation state record that doesn't exist in the other 47 states. It's like, no, like you're not top 10. Like people don't care.
Yeah, there is with open powerlifting, I've ranted about this several times before. There is a lot of ignorance, not with them, with people who read that. Right. It's because they'll have a certain perception of, a power lifter or multiply lifters. Like it's go look and see how many there really are. You know what I'm saying? Like it's coming back where that will be the thing. Like multiply is coming back. Well, it's kind of the same as it's always been. It hasn't died.
Right.
Everything else kind of grew.
Right.
That's the one thing is, well, you can just go look and see how many people are in your
number of competitors.
Then the other one is with people that like to use influencers for comparison and all the other stuff and think, well, I'm not strong enough to compete. The question that we all kind of get, when should I compete in a meet? Well, go look on open powerlifting at your weight class, look at all, drug tested or not, and scroll down, and see how many people are in there.
Like there's going to be tens of thousands of people below you. Like,
there's like 10,000.
Yeah.
And like, you're like in the middle of the pack.
Right.
So there's this false perception that unless you're in the top 10%, you're not good enough or you shouldn't compete or your strength sucks and all that. And it's like, just go look and scroll down. Or the ones that, become spokespeople for the sport who happen to be in the top 10%, think the whole sport evolves around the top 10%.
Right.
Yeah.
But then forget that the other 90% is the whole sport.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. Like,
And that's a huge thing.
People think the sport is like the top 3 people. And it's like, no, that is like the edge of the edge case. Like most of the people are just, right in the middle.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, make sure to take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, so what's next? Where are you guys going from here?
Well, literally, we're gonna go home from here. This trip is freaking put us in a beat down for this this particular trip. So no, we're going back, and we'll probably do a couple more trips this year, doing more YouTube content, home gym stuff, and then the podcast every single week. That's not stopping. We're actually kind of working on our plans for episode 500. We want to do something special for episode 500. So we got some things in the work for that we're excited about. A couple new products that we're working out that are a little bit different for us that we're excited about. The event this summer.
Yep. That's always a big one for us.
That's our focus. And then it's always just deciding where next. Cause we got a lot of circles on the map that we could go to, but we just got to prioritize and decide where exactly to go next. I'm sure we're going to the Northeast sometime soon.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere on the list. And then we do have some people in our area of the country that we want to connect with, do some gym tours, make some content there too. But I guess that would be, if you start looking at what's next for the business, plans like that, it is continuing this YouTube thing. I mean, we'd love to see it be we're realistic, but we'd love to see the home gym tours continue to resonate with people, get some more traction there. And as long as people want to keep watching them, we'll keep doing them. And a couple more products that branch out. We've made more of an effort to make products that are outside of just apparel. Like for years, it was t-shirts, shorts, things like that. And we have a few fun ideas in the works for things that, maybe along the lines of coasters that fall outside of just strictly apparel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We got to keep hammering away. The YouTube is the most exciting thing for us right now. I think that's been growing. That and our, we call it our crew, CRU, umlaut, our supporting members. I know we talked about it last time, but that is one of the biggest things that probably drives the business is this group that is really what's the rule? People say you don't need 50,000 customers.
You need 1,000 dedicated customers. 1,000 people that want to buy anything from you, and it does feel like we're getting to that point where we have 1,000 diehards, and that's it sounds cliche, it sounds dumb to say we're building community, but and like we're not intentionally seeking out to like Tanner, what are we gonna do to build community today? Like we never say that, but you know, as I look back on more and more of it, like we are doing these things that are building community, whether it's through the meet, through these certified training facilities, through our Discord crew or Massenomics crew. Those things are all building deeper connections, and through these, a lot of these people have become our best friends. You know, we talk about some of these people live on the opposite side of the country, and we see them more than people in our hometowns that we consider good friends. Yeah. Because between the Arnold, Massenomics meets, a Massenomics meetup we do, home gym con, all these things, like we're running into these people over and over again. And yeah, we've made some great relationships with people along the way.
How many gyms have you done the reviews for?
Maybe we're at probably 30 some in the last
yeah, we're probably at 30 in the last year or so. Yeah. And then, I mean, just for example, though, like our training facility map, do we have 300?
There's close to 300 certified training facilities now. So we got a pretty big network of
like an unlimited pool. It feels
like. I know that, but what I'm wondering is will this become something, because you've done more podcasts than I have. Will this become something that's kind of like the guest thing with the podcast?
It very well could be.
Yeah.
It very well could.
Yeah.
And
we talked about that too. Yeah, that's like, possible.
There's totally an opportunity that it could just dry up. People are tired of it. I guess where I feel like we maybe bring some perspective and unique things on it, you know, you got to experience it today, is it's not, you know, give me the inventory roll call of what's here. It is, at the end of the day, kind of like a moving, walking podcast where you got to share some stories, your history, making some, you know, if someone's into your, you know, everything you've done and built, they got some perspective on how you built this. Here's some prototypes. Here's a look behind the scenes of some of this. Whereas someone else that doesn't have that, we get their perspective on why did they pick what they do? How did you arrive at building this custom thing? And so you get to hear people's stories on some of this.
With that, have you seen reoccurring themes? For instance, you know, the spin on that would be, hey, look, I want to start a home gym. Yeah. What should I do? And then you've spoken to all these people that have done that. What are some of the reoccurring themes? Because those reoccurring themes would be the best advice.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because if I frame this as what's the best advice, you're going to have a different answer. Mm-hmm. But if we look at what seems to always pop up.
Yeah.
Horse stall mats.
Really, the home gym, its efficiency is like the thing. If I use the buzzword or whatever, it's efficiency, it's space efficiency where they're doing that. And we've seen some stuff that I'm like, I would have never thought of what you're doing, the way you're utilizing that space,
of what you can actually cram into, let's say, a 20 by 10 space
and still make it like usable, legit space. So that's probably the number one thing. Like if you watch enough of ours, you start to learn, my mind wasn't working the way.
Whether it's storage hacks or ways you can do fairly minimal things to set up machines to make a bench and a rack to make it a multi-purpose thing.
Right.
And, you know, depending on how far you want to go down that rabbit hole, if you want to spend a little more time in setup, you can do some crazy things now with these different rack attached table options, things like that. Like the sky is the limit. It's just how far you want to go down that. But yeah, I think efficiency is a pretty good, even storage options too.
Yeah.
There's people have come up with some really cool options there.
Yeah. That's it. That's the number one thing is efficiency that I see go across, you know.
Yeah. What have you seen with the storage options? Because that becomes a tricky one where you can use a rack. You know, you can have rack attachments and all this other kind of stuff. But when you start dealing with all the shit we have out here.
Right.
I mean, people aren't going to buy lockers and crap like that. It's not going to fit. And so you end up in this weird dilemma. Like now I got 30 attachments, wraps, straps, chains, bands.
Yeah, it's like
buckets.
For example, it's like a cleat system that's Kurt Locker is the gym we toured, one of them, and he has this cleat, French cleat system on his
like
walls.
A slat wall kind of.
Mm-hmm. And it's the French cleats where it's just all made out of wood, and he can basically make anything fit into his French cleat system, and then it's very movable and it's really simple to do. Anyone could do it, but his walls are just covered
floor to ceiling. I mean, it's 9 feet, 8 feet of
barbells, attachments, wrap straps, you know, anything. He's using like a one stall garage and just plastered equipment on the walls, and he's able to do it with this cleat system, and then nothing's super permanent in any space. As he buys, sells new equipment, moves it around, and you know, that's one really efficient use.
But even just like smaller things. I mean, there's so many people that make attachments for your rack that can hold barbells out of the way. And, you know, obviously there's the gun racks and things like that where you can store things on the wall.
But see that gets. I can see where that can become weird. I'm going to age myself a little bit, right? Remember when you had compact discs?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And do you really want to buy the rack when the rack's going to cost, the same price that 3 more discs would cost?
Right.
It's a dilemma.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Well, that's true too. Some storage stuff is insanely expensive.
Yeah.
I've gone on about this and like, do I want a shelf that costs as much as the thing I'm putting on the shelf, or do I want more of what I'm putting on the shelf?
Yes, that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
exactly the thing.
Yeah.
We talk about that, and that's a legit thing.
Yeah, like weight storage rack.
Right.
Like, do I really need another one?
Or do I just want more weight?
Can we just lean it against the machine?
Yes.
And that's where with the home gym setting, it comes down to what can be multi-purpose. Like you just, for the most part, got to try to limit your single-use items, like getting things that you can use for multiple exercises or variations. And that's another way you gain that efficiency in that space is multi-purpose units or multi-purpose equipment.
I've seen the, I call them wall racks.
Yeah, like where it's mounted to the wall that like flips down.
Well, it's not that. But basically, you have the rack that's built within it. And then you have, say, the racks in the middle, and it may have the mono hooks. And off to the side, you have the slide storage units,
right?
For the dumbbells and all that. And then off this side, here's the lap machine.
Oh, like building the wings off.
Building the wings. That way, it's all on one wall.
Yeah, we've definitely seen those.
Yeah, there's been a fair amount of that. And that's kind of when people start getting into this world now of the all-in-one system.
Yes.
Whether that's the rack that has the functional trainer built. I mean, two extremes. You get a rack with a functional trainer built in, a selectorized weight stack, a high or a lat pull down, a low row. Like you can go to some crazy extremes. Actually, we're going to bring this one up. Have you seen these Beyond Power Voltras? Are you familiar with these units at all? Mm-hmm. So this gets into, we were kind of interested to hear your take on it. This gets into that tech in the gym. The more mass market things would be like a tonal or things like that. And we were very much of the mindset like, weight, it's forever. And it's easy. Everyone knows how to use it. You throw the weight on the bar. The one product that we came across that more and more people are starting to have is this. It's this Voltra. It's a box. It's about like this.
Has a cable attachment to it.
And it uses like an electromagnetic system of some kind that can ratchet up the weight up to 200 pounds. And the downfall to this is, being new tech, this box is $2,000.
What's the eccentric load?
Here's the beauty of it. Yeah. This is where it really, I started to see, because I was like, no, but this is what like the light switch flipped. You can control, because it's all through an app. It has a screen on it like your phone. You could make it so there's band and chain settings. Like you could make it so the eccentric is 10 pounds. You can make it so the concentric then on the other side is 150 pounds.
Or you can say, I want it to act as a band would act. I want it to act as chains would act. I want it to act as chains and bands together would act.
You can tell it like a rack attachment.
And there's 1,000 ways
to anything.
Attaches. You can tell it when you start to feel me struggling, lighten the load, and it's going to find to where you can keep going.
And it's basically a retracting cable. The cable always retracts back inside of the machine. I don't know if it's got how long the span.
And that was the joke. The first time I got to experience it, we picked the band setting. I'm like, this is what Louis had in mind with Conjugate. This little box with an app telling me what to do, but. Another example, they make a floor plate, a mount. You can mount it below you. You have a belt squat. You attach that to your belt squat. It can go up to 200 pounds. You put that on the 200-pound setting. You have a straight up belt squat that you could take with you on vacation.
You can tell it, I want a drop set. So do 10 reps at 200 pounds. And then the next 5 reps I want at 150 pounds. The next 5 reps I want at 100 pounds. And
it feels like you're on a cable machine. It feels like a high quality cable.
I guess we sound like salesmen of it. I'm
a
little unsure about it's interesting.
When you start talking technology, 5 years from now, the battery on this unit dies, the screen bricks, whatever.
Yeah, I was going to ask about longevity.
That's the thing. No one knows. It's new tech.
And the freaking thing costs $2,000 for one of them. And the max weight on it is 200 pounds, but then people daisy chain them together. You have like...
Yeah, but all that can change in time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly. That's what we talked about.
You
The
look at
technology can get better.
Yeah, does tech get so cheap? In 10 years, is this unit $500? At that point, you get 2 of these. You can attach it to. You have a functional trainer anywhere that you can bring with you for $500. The unit itself weighs 10 pounds, 20 pounds.
Yeah. So longevity would be a key thing, but I mean, capitalism's going to, if it's of value, capitalism is going to make it better, and it's going to drive the price down, over a period of time.
It's interesting. I'd be really curious. I mean, that is the joke. I'm glad you brought it up. We did a little video review on it where we're using someone's, and it made me laugh so much because they put the band and chain setting on, and Tommy was doing face pulls or whatever, and he says right away, yeah, exactly like Louis intended which is so funny. I'd be curious, really, like, to get like a real conjugate trainer, use it, like, do they find value in it? Like, are they like, this actually does have an application for our training, or like, this is like, and you find people are coming up with these. So like the guy's house we were at yesterday, he had a leg press machine, and instead of loading plates, he put a mount for these machines on each one of the weight horns, and then he put a pulley system or an attachment system to the platform, to the leg press. And so he can go on his phone and say, hey, make this leg press 300 pounds, pushes the button. It's instantly at 300 pounds. You're doing a 300 pound leg press. And then, if you want to do drop sets, now you have a leg press machine that's doing auto drop sets for you. Or if you want to dial in that resistance curve, it's doing all those things. And it has a voice activation feature because it's software. So I don't know totally how the voice, I'm assuming the voicing would say, hey, lighten the load, and it can do that for you. It's the cutting edge. There's some really exciting stuff there. I'm not buying. I got my personal money. Am I dropping my money on that? No, I think it's too much. And also we can get strong with throwing weights on the bar. That's
the only thing that I wonder is I can see it on fixed plane, Smith machine, leg press, stuff like that. But I wonder what that resistance will do if it's a bench press and then the bar tends to slide. It's the bar for some people.
I don't think it's an answer for that.
No, I don't either. And like it is the ultimate like accessory hack. You can. It's your lat pull down. You throw that up high. There's a mounting bracket to put it up. You got your lat pull down machine, and it mimics a real one in every single way. Or like I was saying, you need to build that functional trainer or the accessory movements. It does a great job with that. Again,
but if you want 2 of them, so you can actually get enough load to do like a leg press, and the attachments, it's going to cost $5,000,
and it might not be operational in 5 years.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because the whole industry. You can look back over the whole time period. There's certain things that stay and a lot of things that kind of come and go.
Yep.
And technology will definitely bring some things in that are going to stay for sure, as it increases. But even like the tonal and all those type of things, 10 years from now, it's probably not going to be that. There's going to be something way better than that.
Right.
Or a version 2, and this one doesn't work anymore.
Oh, you could have a droid that's just a fucking trainer for you or whatever it's going to be.
Right.
Who knows what that's going to be. But sounds interesting. And like I said, with competition, the price will come down. Sound like the setting thing's kind of weird though too, right? But if you can voice change it.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's the thing. It's software. At the end of the day, they have a box that can provide 200 pounds of resistance. I mean, you can change, we're talking force curve here or strength curve. You can, I believe, change the strength curve on this thing, where it's harder in the first little bit and ramp. There's a lot of options out there. It's probably the closest thing to exciting, somewhat uncharted territory in the space that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at, even at $2,000, if I'm to look at both sides of this whole thing,
right?
Multiple sides of this whole thing, and all you need is half a rack.
You don't even need that. They make a bracket. Like I was talking, you're going camping. They make a bracket that you can wrap around a tree.
Well, $2,000 is going to cost way less than the investment you're going to put into a home gym because you're going to put that into a rack.
Right.
In most cases, alone. So it's already way underpriced if somebody wanted to put a gym in their house.
Yeah. Yep.
And so then that's probably why it's priced the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because
some guys are using it. They're buying just a single upright. They'll mount that upright to a stud in the wall. And then now they basically have, a trolley system. There's a trolley attachment where they can move this wherever they want, or it can be their lat pull down system when they add a seat in. So people are getting really inventive with ways to use this that, like when you're saying, can replace several machines at a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the footprint too.
I think it's a really long ways away from replacing the barbell.
No, yeah, and I don't
think that.
I just see that ever being right.
What I wonder is when everything's in the same thing, say, and we build these. So if it's a rack that's got the pull down and the cables and all the other kind of shit,
Yeah.
and you're training and you're working in the same 10 by 10 environment the whole time.
Yeah.
My mind's not going to do well with that.
I would agree.
You know,
Yes.
I want to be able to move to different locations.
Yeah.
If anything, just to get my steps in.
Yeah.
You know, that's a benefit of a bigger gym.
Yep.
You know, you're not looking at the same thing. I mean, that's like torture.
Yeah.
It is. It's a jail cell. You're going to be in a 10 by 10 jail cell
Yeah.
for an hour and a half.
And I think that's the thing here of looking at, you know, on paper, technically what's possible. This thing checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. But then in real life application, like you said, like in my gym, I look forward to using the different machine, the different attachment that feels different. And
you're looking at a different wall.
Right. Just doing something different. And that's where in real life application, it's never going to be, you know, like with cars, they say you don't drive the spec sheet. It's an experience at the end of the day. And that is still the thing. It's the experience of the barbell training versus the cable training versus the dumbbells. For the average person that's not looking to compete or anything, like, can this be the thing? Maybe, probably. For like people maybe more in what we're into, like, it's never going to be the thing. It might be a thing, but not the thing. So it's,
all right. So how can people find you? Well, actually, you want them to go to your YouTube. Go to the YouTube, watch the gym
on
tour.
YouTube. Watch the gym tour. Have your first one. Watch the Elite FTS gym tour. That's a perfect introduction for anyone listening. If you like that, check out some of our other ones. That's probably the best thing to check them out.
it's a great way to get into it.
Yeah, do that.
And how else?
The podcast. If you like, listen to us yap for 2 hours. You can listen to us yap for thousands of hours online. There's plenty of podcasts out there. Check out our website if you want to.
Website,
Instagram for the
Instagram.
Yeah. We're a little bit of everything. So if you check out anything, we're happy to have it.
All right.
You know.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
We love it.
And we're done.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dave.
All content you see on this channel and at elitefts.com is created by, take a guess, Elite FTS. If you want to help support the content, head over to elitefts.com and pick up literally anything that you need to be able to get more jacked and strong.